Welcome to Twilight 2000 First Edition. On the screen in front of you now is my standard consent and disclaimer for the content that follows. Obviously, this is a game about survival in a post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear war world. There will be some unpleasant elements in the environment, and also some people may be thoroughly nasty because they're just out to survive or whatever. So if there's any problems with that, then either step away now, or if you have a problem during the game, then let me know during the game. But there you go. That's the basic rating for the game. Okay, let's just switch back to me for a minute. Right. Okay. I'm assuming you've seen the character sheets and you've read your player briefings. Please only read your briefing, obviously, although there isn't much in the way of conspiratorial type secrets in any of the characters. It's still worth keeping your stuff secret. We will not be streaming this, obviously, because Toby is without green screen at the moment. And that really is the preamble, I guess. Unless anyone else has anything to add at that point, we'll get on with it.
No, let's get on with it.
Right, you are then. Okay, so let me just switch to that for a minute. Okay, so it's August 2000. You have just survived and escaped from a complete mess that was Ksiaz in Poland. You are, well, three of you anyway, are American troops who have retreated from Ksiaz. The Soviet 124th Tank Division has pretty much pummeled the place into oblivion and taken it over, and is driving south slowly but surely. It is the last offensive, really, of the Third World War, on the grounds that most forces are now spent. Ammunition is scarce, fuel is even more scarce. You're running most vehicles on alcohol rather than petrol because there's very little gasoline around. The nuclear exchange happened 2 years ago, so the radiation is only really present in areas that were directly impacted and in some areas of high fallout. Most of the areas are relatively safe now to traverse. And you are in Silesia in Poland, which is around about 80 kilometers south of Ksiaz, something along those lines. You have spent the last 2 or 3 weeks avoiding Soviet patrols and heading southwards, along with a ragtag convoy of refugees and other people avoiding what's left of the conflict. And you've reached the Al Mountains, which is a natural border, if you like, between former Czechoslovakia and Poland. The Al Mountains are particularly treacherous. They're mostly forested. They are renowned for bad weather. You really need to cross them in summer rather than in winter, so you're preparing to go across them. Your last orders from whatever was left of NATO was to regroup with the NATO forces to the west of the 14th degree line. The issue with that is the 14th degree line is actually west of Poland, so you really ought to cross either into Germany or Czechoslovakia to get to the 14th degree line as soon as possible, and that does mean, in this case, avoiding the Soviets to cross the mountains. You don't really have much of a choice there. There are roads through the mountains. It's not completely uncivilized, but it isn't particularly pleasant traversing it in the current conditions. And at that point, when you are camping at a sort of refugee camp just before the Al Mountains, you are greeted by a Major Colton, who is a US Marine major. It's a slightly different service to some of you. He immediately pulls rank. His objective is to recover some intelligence, which is all he'll tell you, from Castle Ksiaz, which is the castle you can see in front of you on the screen. Castle Ksiaz was a NATO headquarters, which has been recently abandoned. They operated a scorched earth policy and set it on fire when they abandoned it. Major Colton believes that the fire, however, did not destroy everything it was meant to, and there's potentially intelligence in the castle that the Soviets really should not have. And since you are the only team of active servicemen he can find in the area, he is enlisting you to go in and get this intelligence for him from the castle. And that conversation, or the end of that conversation, is the start of the scenario. So you are in a refugee camp with Major Colton. He has just informed you of what he wants to achieve. There you go.
Major, are you sure there's any intelligence anywhere that it would matter if it fell into the Russians' hands now, considering the state? Should we not?
There are still operatives.
Should we not continue with the original NATO orders that we had to regroup?
There are still operatives behind enemy lines, and their identities may be exposed by the information in this castle.
Don't you suspect they're already dead? Or if they get caught, it doesn't matter.
But if there's a chance we can keep them alive by keeping their identities secure, then we should take that chance.
The Major's a Marine, did you say?
He's a US Marine Major, yes. Now, technically, the 3 US guys on the team at the moment are US Army, not US Marines, but he still technically outranks you.
Do we have the fifth character, Lieutenant Sharp?
Yes, you do.
So I'm not the senior officer for the squad yet.
No, you actually equal Sharp in rank, I think. Oh no, he's a first lieutenant, isn't he? It doesn't really matter. One of you can play Sharp if you want. He's just, you know.
No, it's all right. Just
I assume he's with you unless you tell me otherwise. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But yes, and technically he is the senior ranking officer, so his decision would be to go for it. But it's up to you really if you want to follow that. The problem is that the structure of order and command has deteriorated slightly. You are effectively a routing army, so it's up to you really how far you want to take the normal chain of command here.
But we ain't deserting, are we, if we don't follow his rules?
Strictly speaking,
because our orders are to get beyond the 14th degree
and regroup there. NATO forces,
exactly. Yeah. And our orders, especially, you say, do not engage the enemy if there is insufficient military cause.
Yeah, and your orders also say that they revert to local command structures, and technically he is senior to you in a local command structure. And that, I believe, is the first order in the list of 3. So it kind of has...
Survive is my first order.
Oh, survive, yes. Survive was the first order.
And I have to say, walking into a Russian castle strikes me as not being conducive to that order.
Technically, there should be no resistance because NATO abandoned it and the Soviets haven't got here yet. There shouldn't be anyone there.
There should be a milk run. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It should be basically a burnt-out ruin, is what he's saying.
And where is this castle? Is it in the Owl Mountains?
It's not that far from where you are. You are in Wolbers. Okay, I apologize for my Polish pronunciation to start with. It looks like Wolbersrick. It may be something else. The castle is literally about 5 miles from where you are now. Maybe 6 or 7 if you go cross country, something like that. It's really not far away at all.
Can I ask, how have we got here? Have we got here on foot?
Over the last 2 or 3.
A vehicle?
No, you have been here in a vehicle. You had a small Jeep. Unfortunately, you don't really have much fuel for it anymore. So you need to get some more fuel for it if you're going to take it across the mountains or anywhere else. But you haven't been doing that much mileage per day anyway, because a vehicle on the road is an instant sort of target. So you've been driving mostly at night with the lights off and going very slowly. Going during the day with a vehicle will attract attention you don't want.
And how far are the Russians from...
I will pull up a map and show you.
Whatever it's called, the castle.
How
much time do we have before the Russians arrive?
Okay, 1 second. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
We can see that.
Okay, you see this skull and crossbones here? That's Wolbersridge, that's where you are.
I'm not seeing any movement of a cursor or anything.
Okay, well, there are 3 or 4 Hang on, let's move up here.
Oh, there you go. I saw something move there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There are 4
Yeah.
Soviet symbols here. You see them on the right, left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is this skull and crossbones here. The skull and crossbones basically means under no control. All right.
Okay.
Most of the nuclear exchange was on the right side of the map. You can see the mushroom clouds here. There are isolated American units still up here by Ksiaz, which is here at the top. And you are down here. This dark patch here is the Owl Mountains, or part of it. Just to be clear, excuse me, the top half of the map is mostly Poland. The bottom half of the map is split between Czechoslovakia and Poland. You can see Prague is down here somewhere at the bottom of the map. I can't remember exactly where, but it is. And over here is more Germany, so you can see the names changed to German names if you can read the actual writing there.
Okay.
But you are roughly where the skull and crossbones is. There's no overall control here. And you can see the Russians have been doing a sort of pincer movement, basically on Rocklaw here in the middle.
And basically, our orders, General or Major, are to prevent this intelligence getting into the hands of the Russians. So if we destroy it, that's mission success. Yeah.
Yeah. Destroying it, recovering it, whatever you can do to keep it out of the Soviets' hands.
And that castle's quite big. So how do we know what it is if you won't tell us?
Well, presumably it's going to be the form of files or other paperwork. The fire didn't destroy everything.
So there's quite a lot of filing cabinets in a castle that size, Major. And you think five of us are going to manage this before the Russians arrive? I admire your optimism, sir.
Well, no one said it would be easy. There is a war on, you know.
Can you give us explosives to destroy the whole place?
Not to destroy the whole place, but certainly we can provision some explosives.
And I think we would also need, sorry for speaking over you, Lieutenant Sharp, but I sneer at him because he's obviously useless. We also need ammunition. We need fuel for our Jeep. We could potentially do that and then head straight over the mountains.
Go to the castle, you mean, and then head over the mountains?
Yeah.
Yeah,
destroy the castle, and then we could go straight over the mountains before the Russians arrive.
That would be a reasonable plan, yes. He'll see what he can do about rustling up ammunition and fuel. It's not exactly easy to get hold of at the minute. He'll do what he can.
If this mission is as important as you say it is, sir,
oh, he will definitely try.
I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding us ammunition and weapons and vehicles. And
he'll do what he can. Okay, so anyone else got anything to say at this point? Going.
I got a shitload of things to say, but nothing to the Major.
Major. Well, the major goes off to start procuring equipment for you, leaving you to talk amongst yourselves. Sharp seems keen to just go ahead with it. As far as he's concerned, orders have been given. It's a job to do. The rest of you may have other opinions.
Shit, Lieutenant. Sorry, I was being a bit English there. We ain't no Navy SEALs. We ain't no Rangers. We ain't qualified to go in here.
He still thinks you've got a shot if there's no resistance at the castle.
Are we the only kind of formed up unit here? Is everyone else just refugees?
There have been other units that have gone through. You're aware there were some that went ahead of you, and there may be stragglers coming after you, but right now you're it.
This ain't your fight, Rajmund. Are you going to join us?
You have been good to me. I will stay with you.
Your Russian accent is better than my American.
Yeah, I'm not even trying a Polish accent.
Assume it's the same.
Oh, you're Russian, are you?
No, he's Polish. Sorry,
I just assume it's the same.
Right.
Not far off the Polish to Russian accent. But
Ozuski. And what rank are you, Ozuski? Are you a private?
Ranks don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I think you find they probably do.
That to the Major.
Actually. Whilst you're eating those army rations, private, and relying upon NATO support to stay alive, then rank matters.
Fair. I was first lieutenant, I think you call it.
Sir.
No,
Sir. Well, that's me.
Should point out, because you'd see it anyway, that Raymond, or Raymond, however you say it, has a medical corps badge on his arm.
Yeah.
And what rank is the insignia on his uniform?
It is first lieutenant.
First lieutenant.
Well, over to you then, LT.
No, this is your army.
We're all NATO here, so
it isn't
you're our
actually
ranking
Dave's
officer.
army either, because Dave is actually Polish as well.
Yeah, I'm Polish.
Yeah, you
I'd
are
rather-
both technically Polish. I guess the best term for it would be not deserters as such, but when it became clear that the Soviets were going to turn Poland into a no man's land, the support for the Soviets from the Poles rapidly diminished. Yeah, so the Polish are an interesting group at the minute. Some are still fighting with the Soviets, some have defected to NATO, some are sitting in the middle. So it's a bit of a mess as far as Poland's concerned. But yes, the enemy is still very much the Soviets.
Any Pole who fights with the Soviets is a traitor in my eyes and deserves to be shot.
Indeed. Right. Okay. So after a short interval, not that long at all, the Major comes back. He has procured you enough alcohol to power your Jeep to get you over the mountains and also to the castle on the way, obviously. So fuel is not a problem. Ammunition, he's got a small crate of grenades, which was the best he could find in terms of explosives, if you like. There are 16 in there. They're just standard explosive grenades, nothing flash. He's also found around about 50 rounds of ammunition for each of your firearms.
Okay, cool.
And that is literally the best he could do. He's also procured some rations, which he'll load into the Jeep with you, or he'll get you to load in the Jeep more likely. But he has literally no other supplies or anything else available to him here. You get the feeling that, with the exception maybe of some civilians that he's kind of corralled into a sort of ragtag team of his, you are actually his only military staff at the moment. So he's operating pretty much on his own. Okay, so
I'm in favour of doing whatever is going to make life harder for the Russians.
okay.
If it gets us over the border, then
Well, yeah, it's on the way, so it's not infeasible to go there. Right, let me just pull up the next thing.
This castle is on the way. We will go there.
Right, let me just pull up a rough map. Okay. Right. So, see the blue dot there?
Mm-hmm.
That is where the castle is. You are currently in Walbrisish. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, you're here. And you can see that the scale is 5 kilometers there. So that is 5 kilometers between there and there. This line is the Polish-Czech border.
hold on. So 5 kilometers north is the castle. Roughly
Yeah.
5 kilometers south.
I may have made a slight error in the scenario here, Matt. All right. You're going to the castle on the way. Let's put it like that. All right.
Suddenly we're based north of the castle, funnily enough.
These Polish names swim before your eyes. Right, okay. You are going to the castle on the way, yes. You're near Walbrisish, all right? You're not actually in the town. Yeah, so basically you are going to the castle over the border. That's the plan. And I have...
And we're looking for basically anything that will burn, we should burn it.
Yeah, basically. And that's, I mean, if you want to recover it and try and take it back, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just burn it. As long as it doesn't end up in Soviet hands, everyone's happy. It's not really an issue if you just burn it, though. After all, the NATO forces, when they withdrew, they were burning it too. So.
Okay, so we've got four grenades each then out of that 16. Yep.
And enough rounds of ammunition for 50 rounds each. That will vary depending on your magazine side and automatic rate of fire.
Is that 50 rounds per weapon?
That's 50 rounds per weapon.
Okay, cool. That's what.
Okay. Obviously, fully automatic rifles will go through 50 rounds fairly quickly. So you may want to keep a tab on that. Right. Okay. So going back to the picture for a minute. So Ksiaz Castle, it is pronounced Ksiaz, although it's spelled K-S-I-A-Z because Polish.
Ksiaz.
Indeed. It's on a promontory. It sits above a river. In fact, I've got a better photo of it, which will enable you to see exactly what I mean. Where have I put that handout?
Have we not got a video of the drone UAV footage for intelligence purposes of this?
This is
the year 2000. They don't have any drones.
Oh, that's true. Well, maybe some prototype ones.
Yeah, but not here and not now and not available.
Yeah, and they're not giving you a picture of the footage.
No, but that is the best exterior shot you're able to procure from, I don't know, a tourist pamphlet or something else in the town you're in.
A tourist pamphlet. They have a lot of tourists this time of year, don't they?
Not for about 4 years, no. Prior to that. Anyway, so that is a picture of the castle. Obviously, it's taken in happier times. There's a garden to the south of it. It's on a promontory. You can see the town and so on in the background there at the end of the valley. Mostly, it's surrounded by forest, and it's about 200 meters above river level, if you like, rather than sea level. In front of the castle, although you can't see it, sort of here where the mouse cursor is, that bottom part of the valley is a river that goes all the way round.
Do we need to cross the river after we've been to the castle to get over the mountain?
Not at all, no, and there are plenty of bridges anyway, so it's not an issue for you. There is one road that goes up to the castle that actually terminates at the end of the gardens here, and then there is woodland all the way around it. The castle itself, as you can see, is built in several different styles. The northern end of the castle is a more medieval build, so it's mostly stonework and brickwork and so on, and that's mostly survived the NATO fire scorched earth policy. The southern part of the castle, however, is more Renaissance in style, or maybe Hanoverian or something along those lines. And as a result, that part was mostly wooden and has been burnt down fairly extensively. The gardens are also in disarray from what you've been told, but obviously there's been no one to upkeep it for at least 3 or 4 years. So stuff was cleared out of the way for people to get in and out, but that was it. The main reason NATO used it was the large area in front of the castle makes an excellent helicopter landing pad. And that was really why they were using it. It was a quick, convenient access to it. It's reasonably well defended. That was that. However, it's also easily cut off, which is why NATO abandoned it, because it's fairly easy to surround the castle or go around it. And there you go, really. That's Castle Ksiaz. And it's about 5 kilometers from where you are.
How come the Major thinks this is empty? Because if I were a local warlord and I got a chance to live in a castle, I'd take that chance.
Well, he has no information as to who's there at the minute, but as far as he's aware, it's abandoned. Certainly none of the locals of the area have seen anyone go up there or come down from there. No one's made a claim on it as far as anyone's aware.
Kowalczyk, perhaps you want to speak to some of the refugees, the locals, see if they know of anything?
Sorry,
I
thought you said, yeah, I thought
you said Kowalczyk. That's Kowalczyk.
It's the accent that threw me. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean,
there are many people here from all over. Perhaps
presumably this place was taken over by NATO.
Yeah, it was commandeered by NATO at the beginning of the war.
And it's been abandoned for how long?
A couple of months, maybe 3 months, something like that.
And we think, yeah, okay, we've got nothing to suggest that somebody else hasn't moved into it.
Well, you haven't really asked around yourself. The major's asked around, but you have no information.
I can. Well, maybe both of us. How do I pronounce it? Ozlewski.
Yep.
LT. You know, as native Poles, basically, we can both go and ask around.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll go and see if there's anybody who's reasonably local who knows if someone is.
Most of the people that you're with actually came with you from police or the north in general, so they don't really know the area that well. But there are locals,
Right.
and they aren't aware. To sum up, they aren't aware of anyone moving in. There's been no sign of life up there. There's been no lights or fires or anything up there for some time. That said, there's not much reason to go up there either. So none of the locals have actually paid it a visit, if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing up there of any use to them at the minute. So it's debatable. It's the bottom line. They don't really know anything more than you do, apart from they haven't seen anything up there. There's been no helicopters arriving or anything like that, that's for sure.
Sooner we get there, sooner we get out.
Yep, agreed.
Is there a village or a town below the castle?
Yeah, there's a small hamlet. You can see it in the background up here. Mostly abandoned.
Okay.
There may still be one or two people holding on, but in general, the place has been abandoned for some time.
Is there going to be a front line, like a NATO front line, running through the hills, the Owl Mountains?
At some point, potentially, but since Czechoslovakia is part of the Warsaw Pact, and since Poland technically is under the Warsaw Pact at the minute, it's more likely that the border with NATO will be somewhere in Germany. Maybe even the 14th line, as it were. Czechoslovakia has been mostly untouched by the Twilight War. There were some nuclear exchanges and Prague wars here, but the main war has been in Poland and the north rather than in the south more. So it's unlikely a NATO front line would appear in Czechoslovakia. It's more likely to be in Germany or pushing in from the west of Poland.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we were going to be walking through the mountains with NATO positions looking the other way to shoot Russians.
It's unlikely you're going to meet that many people in the mountains at the minute.
Yeah.
NATO certainly has pulled right back because it wasn't expecting the last remnants of the Soviet tank divisions to come west, as it were. That was a bit of a surprise. It caught them on the hop, and then the Soviets had gained an awful lot of territory very quickly. Whether they can hold it or not, though, is another question.
I suggest that we let's approach to within a couple of miles with the Jeep, hide that somewhere off the road, and do the rest of it on foot.
Okay. So everyone's doing. If everyone happy with that, the
rest of the squad agrees.
It ain't democracy. That's what they told me at boot camp.
Well, and I'm not the commanding officer, so you know.
It's a good plan.
Sharp is basically not saying very much. He seems very quiet. For a commanding officer, he seems extremely quiet. And in fact, if you want to make your first skill roll, anyone who wants to do an average medical, which is basically just rolling under your medical skill on percentile, and let me know what you get with that.
I'll give it a go. No, 94. It's a good start.
Not that it matters this time, Dave, but in general, anything over a 90 in Twilight is a failure. But if you are in a skill situation where catastrophic failures are allowed, you would re-roll those dice. And if you got over 90 again, it would be a catastrophic failure. All right.
Fumble. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Anyway, doesn't matter for now because there's no chance of that. Did anyone make it?
I can roll. I get a 17.
Oh, okay. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's well under. with my original GDW dice.
Couldn't find mine.
He's showing signs of post-traumatic stress and anxiety, and basically is one thing away from the breakdown. You think?
Maybe he can guard the Jeep.
Yeah, he's not.
But we take the keys.
Yeah, he's not being very effective at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, you can take him along for the ride, but he's basically withdrawn. Okay.
Well, we should help get him out, but let's not take him up to where there might be combat.
It's fair enough. Right. I will assume then that you are on your way to the castle in the Jeep, and you have reached the 2 mile away point. So tell me about hiding the Jeep.
I guess we hide the Jeep.
In the woods.
Yeah.
Drive it
woods
as far
around.
into the woods as we can go.
We put some bushes over it. And...
Yeah. Cut some.
Just concealing in the undergrowth of the side of the road is all you're doing.
Oh, can we see the castle from here?
From where you are now in a wooded area at the side of the road, and although you might be able to see tiny bits of the castle through the tree line, it's actually quite hard.
Okay, well that's good. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Let's drive it quite a way off the road as far as they're able without getting it stuck.
Yeah, cover it with
knives
branches.
and machetes, Andy, because I don't have anything on my character sheet.
I'll allow you a machete. It's fine. It's not a problem.
Or a combat knife or something, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I do actually think combat knife is listed in your standard equipment right at the bottom.
I have one.
Yeah.
But you can have a machete if you want. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so, okay. Right. So, next question. How are you proceeding to the castle? Through the woods or along the road?
Well, it's daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Through the woods.
Woods.
Right, you are.
Don't get my head shut off.
Do we have somebody who's kind of a scout expert?
Not me.
Not me.
Point.
Robert says certainly been in. He's done a part of the Rangers, and I don't think he would have remembered much because he was part of the retreating away from Ksiaz. But we should certainly know some of the area. More from.
Yeah, no, you'd have some vague knowledge of basic breathing, and actually Roberts would be the best candidate because, as far as I can tell, he's got recon training.
I've got a little bit of recon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Scout up ahead.
Recon is the skill you want here, really. Okay.
Yeah.
The woods are a little bizarre in that two things immediately strike you after you've gone through about 100 meters or so. The first is there's no wildlife. There's no birds singing in the trees. There's no animals scampering around. There's nothing. It's quiet. The second is that maybe 1 in every 5 or 6 trees is dead. They're all pine trees, or you can see on the picture, actually, they're all sort of deciduous and pine tree mix. But at least 1 in every 5 or 6 trees is dead. And when I say dead, I mean literally a stick with twigs sticking out the top.
I'm gonna my dosimeter, is that like will that detect things like Agent Orange or equivalent?
No, it's a radiation detector.
It's just a radiation, just a Geiger counter.
No, it's more your exposed dose. You do actually have a Geiger counter.
Okay. Oh, it's
your dosimeter is your accumulated dose over time.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just going to check my Geiger counter just to see what the radiation level is like.
It's higher than background. It's not dangerous at the moment, but it is higher than background.
Okay.
Probably, if you stayed here for a few hours, you might start accumulating problems where you are now anyway. Maybe it gets worse further in.
High radiation here. Is this higher than it was down at camp?
Yes.
Okay.
What exactly are you scanning with your Geiger counter, Dave?
Well, let's just check like you said, the ambient background, and let's check these trees. One of the dead trees.
Okay. The ambient background is marginally higher. The living trees are also marginally higher. The dead trees are substantially higher. However, they're not dangerous to you, providing you stand sort of a meter or two away, because it's mostly beta radiation. alpha radiation. There's no gamma radiation here, so you're relatively safe if you stand a short distance away.
Okay.
But the trees themselves are contaminated in some way, yes.
Only 1 in 5, so it's not all of them.
No, they haven't all died. There's 1 in 5, something along those lines.
Does it seem to get thicker with dead ones the closer we get to the castle?
Good question. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something at the castle that's causing this then.
Not necessarily. It could just be fallout or some other thing that's drifted over the area.
Well, I ain't never seen trees outside of the park in the projects, and they look none too healthy. But have we got anybody here with, you know, a more rural background, got a farming skill or something?
Farming or bio, either will do. Biology.
I have biology. Could roll biology. Or
Okay. I'll have an average roll on biology if you want.
An average roll in biology, I fail that.
Well, it's still good enough to let you know that the contamination is probably in the soil, and the trees are probably drying it up, which kind of goes with the argument.
Yeah, it's underground. In underground, like
water supply.
The aquifer or whatever.
Yeah. Probably the water around here is contaminated, is the best answer, or the soil, or a combination of the two.
I'm taking a gulp of the water from my canteen.
Which you just got from the river.
Which I didn't just get from the river. I got 5 miles away.
It's not.
And now he suddenly has a third eye.
Springs, you know.
Only nature knows why. Yeah. So the woods are contaminated to some extent. It doesn't look dangerous where you are at the minute. It may be dangerous further in or elsewhere, but it is not particularly harmful where you are right now.
But it seems to be the closer we get to this castle, the more dead trees there are.
Okay. So I assume that you carry on to the minute, or are you holding position?
No, let's advance.
What, we're going to hang around in the radiation zone, or we're just going to go and
get on
do
with
the job?
Moving
Let's get this over with.
Yeah, moving recon up, and we get the Geiger counter just to keep an eye on, make sure we're not doing that.
I will have a difficult recon roll from you, which is half your recon skill or less on percentile dice.
Can I do it as well, Andy?
Yes, you can as well.
Please tell me your recon's better than mine at half.
No, I failed.
No, not.
I'm not reconning. I'm unwrapping an iodine tablet and.
It's always a good plan. Okay, Bruce. As you go through the undergrowth slowly and cautiously ahead of the rest of them, you hear a metallic click from underneath your foot. Now, only too well what makes a metallic click like that. You are on a rather obsolete and outdated landmine. Now, the landmine has only been buried at the surface. It's literally like someone dropped it on the surface and just covered it with soil and leaves rather than burying it properly. All right. What's more interesting about this, despite the fact that if you take your foot off, you might lose your leg, is the fact that the landmine in question seems to be rather old. And by old, I mean predating the current war.
Second World War.
This is not a modern landmine.
Yeah. So sing up, hold up, because I'm not moving any further until they come a little closer.
I'm not getting any closer. You're an arsehole for treading on it in the first place.
This isn't from our war.
Possibly not.
No.
So
what's the EOD skill on this? Explosives?
Combat rifleman, or no, combat engineer.
Combat engineer, or possibly something along the lines of mechanic, maybe. And at a real pinch, I would allow maybe some basic chemistry or something like that, or aircraft mechanic. But you are basically looking at combat engineer, really.
No, I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Private Robert.
We can help, but not by defusing the mine.
No, we can help by.
We put a rope round his waist.
What's left of his leg?
Yeah.
Put a rope round his waist, and all of us pull on it, pull him out the blast area as we let go.
This horrible vision of just the top half coming back with the rope.
Just before we jump in, because she said mechanic could play a role. Could I take a look to see if it looks like it will be pressured if I take the weight off, or?
Judging by the way it clicked and depressed when you went on it, you think
Right.
that taking your foot off it would detonate it. Yeah.
Right. So maybe a rock or something to put on top of it.
That'd be a big
someone
rock.
Someone find me a big rock. I'm not going to be going anywhere, but
Dr. James
Okay.
should be doing this one. It's like moving the thing on. So that'll
Right.
be Williams. Get in there, Dr. James.
Or
Face first.
a heavy tree trunk.
But yeah,
A
look,
log?
before
You
we
need
start talking
something-
about this, I am an engineer. You know, I'm a mechanic, not an engineer. But basically, to put a heavy thing on the trigger, we have to take something off the trigger first, namely his foot. When we do, it goes bang. I say, put a rope around him, pull him out of the blast in one go.
okay.
The mine, is anyone taking a closer look at the mine, or are you just sort of watching it warily from a distance while you argue about how to drag him off with a rope?
I have no
Looking at it warily
expertise
from
to
a
help
distance
here.
while we argue about whether to drag him off the rope.
I'm going to keep an eye open on the woods to see if we're causing any kind of drawing any.
Okay, you can make a recon roll for that, though, just a straight recon roll, but yeah.
20. Yes, I've actually succeeded in a roll. Woo.
Okay, well, you notice it's still unnaturally quiet in the woods, but apart from that, there's no sign of anything.
Okay.
All right.
I'm assuming it's sort of early afternoon, by the way, but yeah, there's no sign of anything around you at all.
You got your flat jacket on, have you, Bruce?
Yeah, we'll.
Yeah.
David? Roberts?
Yeah, we'll be in full gear probably because we wouldn't.
We are active.
Yeah. You
So
would
I
have
can-
full flap jacket and everything else,
Yeah.
steel helmet, the works.
Yeah. So trying to pass the guys the equipment to try and not lighten too much, but enough to pass down line to make it lighter, so I'm not carrying too much when they pull me off.
Yeah.
I'll keep the flat jacket on because
Yeah.
and
We
the
don't know
helmet.
whether there's shrapnel coming out of this.
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely hand the basic medical kit to Rasmus because I think he's going to need it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You can see the mine under your foot. It's actually bigger than your foot. It's a disc-shaped mine. It's a simple pressure plate with a spring. It's not anything more complicated than that. The spring is fairly stiff-looking, so you are going to need a fairly amount of weight on the top, from what you can see. But it is antiquated and nowhere near a modern design.
Hold on.
So-
Okay, I've got an idea. I
Wedge
get
it.
down on my belly and I crawl towards him with his mine. Obviously,
Yeah.
as I crawl, I am fingering through the hummus, and I'm not going to crawl onto another mine.
Well, that would be
Okay.
embarrassing. Yeah, but go on.
Then I take my combat knife.
Yep.
And I slide it under the sole of his boot, between the sole of his boot and the trigger,
Yeah.
and I hold it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You will need to make a strength roll for that because you're effectively, until the knife is in place, holding the spring down with your knife.
Yep.
Okay. So your strength is
11, so that's 55. Am I right?
That is, yep. 55 or less for that.
30.
That's good enough. Okay, you have the knife wedged in the spring mechanism under his foot. And now is the moment of truth, really. What do you want to do, Bruce?
Oh boy. Can we gently lift? If it feels like the click's going up, then that foot isn't going to go any further.
Okay, you gently lift. The spring is holding with Matt's knife in the way. So you can take your foot off.
Now, somebody find a tree trunk.
Yeah, some we talked about a rock or tree trunk. We try and put that on there. Very.
Yeah, look around for a tree trunk. Also,
There
I
are
want
some
to
dead
see-
trees and branches around. That's not too hard to find. So
Is there signs of old barbed wire fence or anything?
not that you can see. No, this literally is the only thing you've seen. It's like now you've actually got Bruce off it and you can see the whole thing clearly. It reminds you of sort of, well, a World War II mine, to be honest. Right. It looks like a sort of German mine from the last war, or the previous war. The last war was only a couple of months ago, so that's kind of irrelevant. Anyway, and it was really the last war. But yeah, so the mine looks German, old. It doesn't look like a modern mine. Also, the other thing about it is that it's strangely placed. I mean, you've not necessarily got combat engineering skills yourselves, but you've seen mines placed and they're normally buried level with the soil or just below it. Yeah. This has been placed on top and just covered with dead leaves and whatever, almost hurriedly.
Has it been placed recently?
Placed. Yeah, it was placed recently.
Well, it's going to be pretty recent if it's only covered in leaves.
Yeah, it can't have been put here
not one that's been there for 40 years. Or
no, if it's 40 years, it'd be about a foot under now.
Yeah. So it looks like it's not...
Okay.
It's not in its original place, shall we say.
Yeah, but, you know, as I'm lying here on my belly, I am not wanting an historical discussion about the origins of this mine. What I'm wanting is a fucking tree trunk.
Right, yeah.
I'm looking for the tree trunk.
There are, like I say, there are dead trees and things around. It's not that hard to find a branch or a trunk or something about the right mass to put on top of it. And it's also fairly easy to put one on top, so we won't worry about that too much. So now you have...
What this implies, I think, guys, is that someone probably has taken possession of the castle and they've got a stock of old World War II mines that they've now put out as their own form of protection.
Yeah.
I would suggest.
Yeah.
I ain't adverse the idea of that stock being in the castle since the war.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they definitely think the castle's theirs now. And everything in it that we might be wanting to burn.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So,
well, if we're going to move forward, we're going to have to do it very, very, very slowly because there's going to be more of these and in a single file.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You are at this point on the slope leading up to where the castle is. I don't know if you can see the photo still, but you'll traverse the bottom of the valley quite easily, and you're now on the slope going up to the castle. So you probably, at a normal walking pace, it'll probably take you, 10 minutes to get to the top? If you're doing that cautiously, then maybe 20 to 30 minutes to get to the top.
I think we're being cautious and covert as well, so we're trying to do it sneakily.
Okay. Now, despite what the photo shows you there, most of the gardens are now overgrown as well, apart from the pad in front of the castle itself. So the gardens themselves are relatively covered. It's been 3-4 years since they were tended in any way, so they're pretty much covered. So there's a cover right up to the base of the castle itself. Now, as you can see, the castle is on 2 levels. There's the level with the upper garden, and there's the level with the lower garden around the base of it. You can probably get to the bottom wall, as it were, without being seen fairly easily because there's undergrowth all over it. It's once you break that and start going around that, you'll start to be out in the open more. In any case, it will take you about 30 minutes. There's no real need to worry about radiation at this point. It is there. The area is radioactive to some extent, but it's not dangerous enough to be concerned about at the moment. There are progressively more and more dead trees as you go up the slope. I'll have another recon roll from you, Bruce, if you're the front of the line.
Yep. Normal?
A normal roll, yeah.
Yeah, this pass at 16 against the 40.
That's good enough. You see 3 or 4 more of the old-style mines. All of them appear to have been hurriedly or amateurishly, if that's even the word, laying on the, just put down on the top of the ground. They're not covered properly, except maybe leaves and a little bit of scruff dirt or something, but that's it. They haven't been buried properly. It does look like a bit of a botch job, actually. No, some of them are obviously visible as you go close to them. They're not even concealed properly.
Kids.
Okay. You're now roughly, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor, but you're now roughly on this level here.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we see any signs of No signs of habitation or anything.
Not at the
Like
moment. No,
fires,
you can now.
noises.
No, you can now see the castle itself properly. The bit that's pink on the right-hand side there is mostly burnt out. It was mostly wooden to start with. It's mostly been burnt down. The medieval part on the left-hand side, however, the stonework there is pretty much intact. Some of the windows have been blasted out by fire and things like that, and the roof may be a bit damaged, but the stonework is there. The trees are, a lot of trees around here are dead now, but there are still, you can see the arches here where the mouse is, they're still relatively clear. Most of the left-hand side of the castle is far older than the right-hand side, and as such is thick stonework and stuff, and it's basically survived.
Where do those arches lead, Andy?
The arches are actually blocked up. They're just supports for that part of the castle.
Okay, it's just part of the architecture.
Yeah, it's just it's not like it's a bridge that you can go underneath or anything.
Okay.
The main entrance of the castle, as you can see from this photo, is here by the front of the pink bit, but this bit's all been damaged, so presumably you can still go in that way, but it's fairly damaged. On the other side of the castle, it's just like this wall all the way around, so you will have to find the stairway up to the front at some point, unless you want to climb it, of course.
Do we smell? We don't smell any cooking fires or other smoke of any kind like that.
You can't see any signs of habitation from where you are.
Smell.
Oh, smell. Sorry, no, you can't smell anything like a cooking fire or anything like that.
Okay. Are there? Do these gardens or anything that were around it look like they were maintained or restored or anything, or do they look like they are
they've been
abandoned for 60 years?
They haven't been abandoned for 60 years. They've been abandoned for maybe 3 or 4.
Okay. That's the expected amount of abandonment. I'm just wondering if like maybe this castle had a use prior to the war that was not castle.
Maybe it did.
So they weren't upkeeping any of this stuff, and it was just all completely run down for.
No. The castle looks like it was maintained before the war, but as a home or a hotel or a tourist attraction or whatever, you have no idea. But certainly, it looks like it was maintained. Okay. But 4 years ago, with the advent of the war, 3-4 years ago, when things started happening, it was obviously just left. There are some bits that have been cleared away of the vegetation. Presumably that was when NATO had it, but nothing that is of any real significance, and certainly it hasn't been tended in the last 4 years or so properly.
And I don't see any signage, any official signage.
Not from where you are at the moment, no.
And we're up on that garden part, the white garden pathway around.
You are currently just down here. Yeah. You can see there's a little archway here that goes through that will go upstairs up. And you're on this sort of flat bit here, for want of a better description.
Yeah, the gardens that surround it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think whoever put that mine is going to be guarding that entrance. They're going to have, if they don't want people walking, they don't want people going through that entrance there. So we should expect something in that entrance.
Seems likely, doesn't it? How difficult would it be to climb up one of these walls?
Not too bad, actually. There's a lot of vegetation, and it's old stonework. There's a lot of handholds. Probably could do it. It wouldn't be the easiest climb, but it's certainly not the hardest. It's under mountaineering normally.
Mountaineering. Okay. Well, maybe I don't go first then.
I ain't climbed anything since I went over that damn wall in boot camp.
You keep referring to boot camp, Howie.
I keep.
Yeah, because all my combat training is at boot camp, and then I became a mechanic, and for the last 4 years I've been a mechanic, and now I'm on the front line. So I'm just making that clear.
You're remembering boot camp fondly, obviously.
No.
Not fondly.
Wishing you'd spent more time at boot camp.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you want to try the entrance or you want to climb it. the Major is who's been with you, by the way, for this, all this way.
The Major came with us.
Oh,
Major's with us?
Oh, the Major is with you, yeah.
oh.
He's
What are you doing here?
Exactly. It's like, whoa.
Where'd you come from?
Didn't realize you were there.
That might be my fault. I didn't mention that. But anyway, he is with you, as is Sharp, by the way, as well.
I thought
We left Sharp in the car.
You left at the vehicle, didn't you?
Yeah, Sharp. Yeah.
But the Major is definitely with you. He has been taking very much a back seat, though, mainly because
obviously
he seems to be content to let you deal with everything and just sort of follow up the rear at the moment. He doesn't seem to have a preference with how you get into the castle either.
Is he a Major, or is he just somebody wearing a Major's coat? Did we check that out?
I'm not sure we did.
Is it a loose fitting?
Well, it seems to be a reasonably good fit uniform.
Yeah, hang on. Let's just go and keep an eye on the Major.
How would you tell is the question.
I don't know. Wait for clues.
I mean, you can attempt to get in touch with command and find out if he actually exists. But anyway, right. So, okay, so entrance or wall, which one?
I think the wall is likely to be a disaster, certainly with my ability at climbing walls.
That depends on what your ability is, Dave.
It's 15. So
hold on a second.
Yeah,
hold on a second.
That could end badly.
David, can you go around to the other side and then come back and see if there's a better way up on the other side?
Okay, scare ahead. Sure, I can do that.
Okay, so you're basically just going to go around the entirety of the base. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll do a quick loop around as much as we can.
We wait where we are, and like 3 minutes later, we'll hear a. He steps on a mine.
You see Roberts fly through the air.
Who's next?
I'm going to go that way.
Not sure this is the wisest thing to do. I'm going to go with him. I think that's probably safer.
Okay. Well, I will have an average recon off the pair of you. So just recon all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I succeed.
Oh, failed by 9.
Okay. Well, Minka's good enough in that case. There is a sign of habitation. There are 2 blokes dressed in civilian clothing, both of them carrying AKMRs, standing on the top of the wall in the trees here at this end of the castle, looking down.
When you say here, I can't see
which end.
Oh, sorry, wrong mouse. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
These trees here, looking down over this bit, there are 2 guys. They appear to be having a smoke and a conversation rather than guarding actively. But there are definitely 2 guys standing there.
And you say they look in civilian clothes. They're not really paying much attention. They're out on a fag break.
They're not dressed in uniform. Is the real point.
How are they holding themselves? Do they look like professional soldiers?
Do
they look like farmers who've picked up a rifle?
Yeah, what's the accent?
Well, okay, you can't hear what they're saying clearly from where you are anyway.
Can I tell the language though?
You would think Polish.
Okay.
Just based on the mannerisms and the tone of the voice rather than the actual words. But the uniform and how they're carrying themselves, they look semi-professional. Let's put it that way. They don't look like they're entirely at ease with what they're doing, but at the same time, they don't look like they've been trained.
Okay, I think we ought to stop before they get a chance to see us.
Well, they certainly haven't seen you at the moment. They're having a conversation of some kind.
Can I sneak up close enough to hear them? Obviously, I'm fluent.
You can go to the bottom of the wall to where they are, but that wall here is probably something in the region of about 30 foot high, 25, 30 foot high or more. So you'll be able to hear snatches of conversation at best, probably.
It's probably worth a try.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have a good question actually. We'll do that on recon as well. Forward observer. Do you have forward observer?
No, I don't.
Okay, do it on recon then.
Okay.
Just a normal average recon task will do for the moment.
Yep. 0-1.
Oh, I think that's more than good enough. Okay, the conversation, which you are strangely ideally placed to hear by some natural accident of acoustics, is an argument, although not a very heated argument. One of them is keen to leave the castle. He's had enough. The other guy is of a similar mindset, but scared what someone called Arcady will think of this, and really doesn't want to annoy Arcady in any way, shape, or form if he can get away with it. So they're looking for a sort of compromise where they can leave, but without angering this Arcady person, whoever he might be. Certainly, neither of them are terribly happy being where they are.
Okay. I recommend, Specialist Roberts, that we go back and inform the others of what we've learned, rather than press on round, draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah. Seek back.
Yep. So we'll go back and report that to Oslewski and the Major and Howie.
Okay. So there are two guys having a cigarette and arguing about whether they want to leave or not.
And a guy called Arcady, who's probably the leader here.
Yeah, maybe. You don't know. But certainly whoever Arcady is, you get the impression he's of some local importance. Whether he's a leader or not is another question. He could just be a bully or something. In any case, yeah. But there are two of them. Possibly there are more, you don't know.
And they're carrying Russian rifles, you say?
They are indeed carrying Russian-issued rifles, although they're speaking Polish.
No, I guess they're carrying Polish-issued rifles since Poland's part of the Warsaw Pact. But
well,
don't make me trust them anymore.
Certainly, Russia makes AKMR rifles.
I guess they must be pretty common all over the place now, though.
They are a fairly common weapon for the Warsaw Pact. In fact, you're using one yourself, Dave, at the minute.
I am, yes, I know.
Yeah. So it's not unusual to see them deployed, to be honest.
Okay, and there's no easy way up the wall there, so this isn't like there isn't a stairway I could walk up.
No, not at that point. There is the entrance here, but that's the only entrance you've seen so far where you could walk up. Presumably, there are more entrances off this side of the map over here, or on the other side. But
so as I've left the Warsaw Pact and joined NATO, am I now still wearing my Warsaw Pact uniform, or am I wearing NATO uniform?
The way that it's done is that to make sure NATO are aware of who you are, you're still probably wearing Polish military fatigues, but you probably removed your rank and insignia.
Right.
So you have an unranked uniform, if you like. They don't have spare uniforms lying around to make you an instant sign up to the American Army.
No, I was just wondering there, because...
But the traditional way of doing it is to tear off your rank and insignia and everything else, so that you're just a sort of grey coat or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. And that's pretty much what you are. Same goes for Rajmund as well. Right. You may have a medic badge on you, but that's it. The rest of it will have gone.
We look around the other side
Of the castle.
Yeah, to the right in that picture.
Go around the other way.
Down this way.
Have David scout that direction as well.
Okay.
The ranger.
Make a recon roll, Mr. Bruce.
Again, I'll go with him again, shall I?
Yeah.
Might be good.
Okay.
I should really just read Sharp's bio by this point. Oh, no, no need. I actually passed, just under 4.
Okay. All right.
Again.
There is a tiny wooden sort of box on a small stand by the wall, which appears to have pamphlets of some kind in it, although they seem water damaged. It looks like some sort of leaflet dispenser or maybe some sort of, I don't know, pamphlet stand thing. It's heavily damaged. It's been burnt in places. It's water damaged, but there still seems to be some paperwork of some kind in it.
Probably take a couple of pieces of paper,
All right.
I'm not taking the whole lot. I'm not lifting the box. I know how that ends up. I've seen my Vietnam War films.
Okay.
So I'm just taking a couple because we're here to look for intel to see if there is something in there. Is it NATO?
They appear to be tourist pamphlets. There is a front of the castle that you can see with a nice picture of the gardens as it should look. And the leaflet is mostly unintelligible inside. It's all stuck together. But you do find, if this actually loads, because my machine's now being slow for some reason, that.
Aha.
Now, you are here somewhere on the side here. There appears to be, that seems to be the main part of the castle. These are buildings that you can see roughly from where you are, but these seem to be in ruins mostly. And then there's this bit in the middle, which I will leave you to form your own conclusions about.
Am I seeing these?
I think you all are, but if you bring them back.
Yeah, I'll bring enough for everybody. I think this is...
Well, this is really the only image from the inside of the pamphlet that you can make head and tail of. The rest is too damaged.
Yeah.
Because check out the width of these against... I'm pointing with my cursor, which you guys, of course, can't see.
Right.
But the fact that these are wider than the bit of land we're standing on right now suggests if we go one terrace down, we may find entrances to a basement system, probably servants system.
Can I have
wine cellar?
Not from the Americans, because you speak English natively, but from the other two, can I have rolls on your speak English, please? I'll explain why in a minute.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not for me.
Okay. Something odd about the lettering on the bits that you can see. Some of it looks like it's English text. Some of it, however, looks like it's foreign text that's been sort of cut and pasted in the middle of the English text. In particular, the font looks German.
Oh, okay. So
you can't really see the lettering. It's just that sort of German Gothic font that they put everywhere.
Oh yeah. That old
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the ones the Nazis used?
Yeah, the ones the Nazis used.
Well, yeah, but they're still used in modern Germany as well. It's sort of survived the war. But yeah, that sort of Gothic font.
Right. I'm wondering if these tunnel marks, combined with that World War II mine we saw, if these are Nazi tunnels. I have heard, Minka, I'm sure you've heard of these stories too, that the Nazis buried their gold in underground tunnels and stuff as they were being driven before the Red Army.
Yeah.
Do you think, and I'm keeping an eye on the major at this point, that's probably what Arkadiy's looking for. If he's in here looking for something, that's what those guys are here for. They probably think, is the major reacting or anything?
Doesn't appear to be. No, he's listening to you, but you get the feeling that he's either not interested or doesn't care.
I think is there a subtext here where actually the major's coming in to get the gold rather than destroy some spurious intelligence? We can have this conversation in Polish, presumably, can't we, Raymond?
Oh yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have that part in Polish.
There are probably now far too many consonants flying across between you.
Just the right amount of vowels.
The occasional vowel and mostly consonants.
I think
Okay,
I think Howard's point was probably a good one. We might want to go down a layer on the terraces and see if we can find one of those entrances, because that might be an easier way into the castle than trying to go through the front door.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
That terrace would be down here.
Yeah.
So you'd be going back a bit.
Yep.
As opposed to going forwards. Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's look around for those tunnels.
Okay. Now, if you if we go back to that, these tunnels, you can see the edge of that terrace here, that line there, and you can see two sort of tunnel entrances here.
Yeah.
So presumably there would be something for either one of those if there's an entrance at all. So if you want to make a recon roll for either one.
Can we all do that, or?
Yep.
All right. I don't have much.
I'll do my best. No, getting close this time.
That is not a critical failure.
But it is a failure.
It's an absolute failure.
Right.
I see no ships.
We'll wait for Dave to come back.
All right.
Can I just get you, Andy, to check your Discord?
Oh, what, the Twilight Discord? Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Hang on a minute. Right. Okay, you're back. Right, so, Dave, can you make a recon roll? Everyone else did and failed horribly. You're mute, by the way, Dave. There we go.
Sorry about that. I was just got turned really cold, so I had to go and grab something warm.
No, that's fine.
53, that's a success, just.
Okay, well, Minka finds it, no one else does. There is a manhole cover, obscured by weeds and dirt and other undergrowth. When I say manhole cover, it's not like a large metal disc that you can just pry off. It's a proper square cover. Right. It has a bolt on the top of it. It's fairly easy to open. It's fairly heavy, but nothing too arduous. And it is located at the top one of these, where the cursor is now, if you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no insignia or design or text or anything else on the manhole cover. It is literally just a sort of, well, it's like, you know, sort of square bobble patterns you get on manhole covers. It's kind of like that. But that's it.
Did we open it?
You can do if you wish. You haven't yet.
I'm gonna wave the Geiger counter over it real quick.
Yeah.
You're getting slightly higher background at the moment. That's it. Nothing more than that.
I'm wondering if that's where the contamination's coming from, is underneath this castle. Something buried down there. All right.
Okay, so crowbar to it and open it, or okay. Tell me how you're opening this. Is it just a crowbar, or are you?
Howard, before we open it, Howard, you want to look to see if it's been booby trapped?
Oh yeah, because I'm the demolitions expert now.
You're the mechanic. That's the best you're the closest we've got to a demolitions expert.
Okay, so I've got mechanic, I've got electronics. I don't have demolitions or anything like that. Which skill would you like me to use, Andy?
I think mechanic would be most appropriate for this.
Okay, I'm 100% on mechanic.
Yeah.
72.
That will do. Okay. There is no mechanism that you can see attached to the trapdoor from this side, and you rather suspect, having tapped around it and whatever, that it is just a trapdoor or a manhole cover. So there isn't really anything.
And it doesn't look to have been used recently, because, you know, I know the sort of grime that gets in these things.
It might have been moved in the last few months, but if it has, it's only been moved once, if that. It's not being used regularly, no. It's a little disturbed, let's put it that way. which sounds
Not regularly used, but it may have.
It may have been moved.
I tell that to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, let's pry it open then, shall we?
Okay. It comes open with a little effort. There's not any need to roll anything for it. Underneath it, there is a short ladder that goes down maybe 10 feet, and then what appears to be a concrete tunnel going off underneath the area of the castle there.
Shine the flashlight down, looking for any sort of booby traps.
There's nothing. It's literally just a concrete tunnel and a ladder.
Okay.
And listen.
Flashing the flashlight around.
Well, let's listen before we start flashing light around.
Well, too late. I shined my flashlight.
There's a lot of light coming from this manhole cover.
Yeah,
Suddenly, there's a big neon sign saying, "We're coming this way." No, there's.
So I'm also looking for evidence of wiring and lighting along the tunnel, which I expect to be off. But
there is
evidence
indeed evidence of wiring along the tunnel. It's like someone, you know, those old style 2-wire tube lamps they have, where you put a lamp across the 2 wires and it lights up.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that down the sides of the tunnel. There's like copper wiring down both sides.
Cool. And can I work out the vintage of that wiring? And
1992.
The vintage is relatively recent, in the last decade or so, you would think. As for the anything else about it, it's wiring.
Okay, and it's it seems like it's copper wiring as opposed to lead wiring. So
yeah. It's relatively recent, but it's not in any real state of good repair. It's obviously been left on its own for a while, but apart from that, it's relatively recent.
Okay. Well, who's going down first? Because it ain't me.
Major?
Major just says...
You cowards. I'll go first.
I'll go second.
All right. You descend the ladder and go fully down into the chamber underneath.
Yeah, I got my rifle ready.
Yep, that's fine. There is a long shaft ahead of you, as you can see from here, that goes off into darkness. You are in a tunnel it's got a sort of curved roof, a sort of vaulted curved roof for support, but it seems to be around 7-8 foot wide. It's a fairly spacious tunnel.
Can I just check, which of the manhole covers have we found? Have we found the one that ends in the straight tunnel, not the one that...
You're here looking down that long tunnel there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Right. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. You can see the wiring on either side, on either walls for where you would attach lights. There do seem to be some lights attached to it further down, but they're not on. And that's really all you can see at this point. Yeah, it's a stone tunnel. It looks like it hasn't been used for anything in a long time, but it isn't, it isn't flooded or dirty or anything like that. It's just empty.
Okay. Do I have a red filter on my flashlight?
Yes, you probably would.
Okay, I'm going to use the red filter then.
Right.
And tell everyone else to use their red filters.
Out of interest, what does the red filter do?
It makes the light less visible. It's less glaring. So
gotcha.
Somebody won't notice it so easily as a around.
It also is true that human eyes are geared up to see at the red end of the spectrum better than the blue end. So red light is slightly easier to see in dark when you're trying to see things with it. That's why emergency lights are red. Anyway, so
yeah, and I'm going to advance very cautiously down towards that first junction.
Okay, so you are going to here.
I'm going to sneak to the first junction of
Okay, it's fairly easy to sneak down here because there's literally nothing here. So you're either walking slowly or not. To be honest, that's sneaking down this tunnel.
Quietly, then I guess is the trick.
Okay, you get to that junction. I take it you take a quick peek round.
Yep.
Have a look round. Okay, the tunnel goes off, as you can see. It's pretty much the same tunnel as you're in. It's an arched tunnel. The lighting wires down the side. You would think at the end, although you can't quite make it out, but you think there's a ladder at the end, just the same as the one you came down.
Yeah.
Presumably there's another trapdoor, another manhole cover, or whatever at the end of it.
Going by this map, there's a lot of ways into this place, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, there's potentially 3 ways in. I'm not convinced that these round areas at the other end of the tunnels are necessarily entrances.
No, but if each tunnel is like this tunnel, then there's what? 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
I'm
10.
not convinced that
I-
that those cross tunnels, sort of halfway down, necessarily end in
They might not.
entrances.
No.
Also, something else you might want to bear in mind. This is a tourist map.
Yeah.
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 It's not exactly an accurate depiction of the castle or the buildings or anything else either.
No, that's a fair comment. Okay, well, let's keep progressing down the again, moving my cursor down the tunnel towards the junction in the middle. Yeah.
So this one here.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, you pop your head round. There is a tunnel going off, and as if to disprove your theory, at the end of it, you can quite clearly see there is no ladder and no trapdoor.
It's just a dead end.
Just a dead end.
Nothing in there, no storage, no.
Doesn't appear to be. It looks completely empty as far as you're concerned.
And we haven't heard the sound of anyone else down here or lights?
Not yet. No, you haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Can I take some of this copper wiring?
If you really want to, you can cut some out. Yeah, it's not
Cool.
live.
Yeah.
Or you
Not-
are.
But it's valuable.
It is valuable.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
take the
that's some
copper,
value.
we'll take the gold. Well done, Corporal.
Yeah. And let's see how well the gold works when the electrics are shot on the Jeep, hey? Shall we?
Yeah. Yeah,
The gold will work really well for that.
Yeah, I was going to say electrical contacts are normally quite good.
That's fine. I'm happy to walk.
To give you an idea of what the tunnels look like, this is a photo from inside.
Oh, wow.
There are
rougher than I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
there are concrete sections. Moving a bit further on, we can do this. This is a more modern photo.
That's what I expected.
If you ignore the blue stuff and whatever, because that is a 2020s add-in, what you actually have is the old copper wiring and things. And also ignore the bags and things on the ground. It's just literally tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay. So some interesting stuff going on here. So we've got
Are the tunnels that big?
that are concrete.
Mm-hmm.
They're as
Some stuff is
wide as
concrete.
this photograph. Just because I interrupted Rajmund.
There we go. So
But
some
this
tunnels,
is mine workings.
it
Isn't it?
looks like mine workings. It certainly looks like there's an old railway or cart track or something down here. And then some of the tunnels, the main tunnel you're going along is more like this. The side tunnels are more like this. So it's a mixture of styles, basically. It
Okay.
looks
Well,
unfinished. It's the best way of describing it.
I haven't got great geology, but I reckon my 30% probably comes from the fact that half my family grew up in Philadelphia. And I get 30% exactly.
Okay, well, this isn't a mine working.
Right.
It looks like this was incomplete tunnel work, that it was never finished. The concreted areas are obviously as finished as they're going to be for the minute, but the other areas look like they were dug around the same time, but just not finished.
So a bunker, probably Nazi bunker. Is that what we're saying? Built during the war.
Bunker,
what we're
I'll
saying.
give you, yeah.
Okay. I relay that to everybody.
And are the tunnels really as big as these pictures show?
Yes.
So like, what is that, 10 feet? 8,
This
10 feet
probably is
across?
now widening out to about 10 feet wide, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this one is probably about 7 or so feet wide at most.
Yeah,
It's a little
like 7
deceptive to
feet
see.
high.
Yeah. Going by the gauge of the track in the middle, I'd say 7 feet, but it depends really.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, should we keep moving forward?
Okay.
Towards that
And so far,
junction?
no signs of NATO paperwork or
Oh no, there's no sign of any habitation or storage or anything. It's literally just a tunnel.
I'm going to say to the Major, presumably we must have known about all of these tunnels when we were here.
Presumably they did, he said.
Why didn't you at least tell us that there's a way in?
Because they may have known, but they didn't tell me. Says Minka.
I'm gonna say to Raymond in Polish, I think we can trust this Marine.
No. Or I should say, absolutely not.
I'm going to say in Polish,
be too obvious.
We have been in Poland for 4 years.
That's why I didn't want to say no.
I'm partly kind of wondering whether he's understanding what we're saying. He's trying to test whether he can speak Polish as well.
If he does understand you, he doesn't react to it.
Right, okay.
Right, okay, so you go along this tunnel a bit further.
Mm-hmm.
And it opens up into, hang on, let me get the other map up. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, dear.
Nice place for a holiday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there's that intersection.
Yeah. So you're coming to sort of here.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. You see that big round thing there?
Yep.
Okay. Now, that actually turns out to be this. It's a shaft that goes directly up, but it's near enough vertical. There's no way up and down it. It's literally just a shaft going up. It seems to be sealed at the top. It's reinforced with concrete. The concrete looks fairly old, and you can see the mix of styles here, where it's the old rough-hewn stuff here, plus concrete that's been partially put over it, but not finished off.
Is that a seam, or is that like space to put stairs?
This here, it looks more like a seam than stairs, to be honest. Okay. Possibly they could have put a stairwell up there, but it just looks like where the blocks of concrete are connecting up.
And still no lights, no sounds.
Still no lights, no sounds. There is a light here in the photo, but ignore that. You're actually going around on flashlights at the minute.
Yeah. So, and the red flashlight's not going to shine all the way up to the ceiling there, right?
No, it's not. A normal flashlight wouldn't really either.
Oh, all right.
You don't really know how deep it is, but given roughly the sort of geometry of the castle around you, you would think that the top of that tunnel is literally the bottom of the castle.
And there's no wires running up and down?
No, not here.
And there's no like contact point on the bottom where a cage would
or a lift or something
land. Yeah, lift would land.
No, it's literally just a shaft.
Anyone got any idea what this would be used for?
I have, sir. I reckon these tunnels may have been used to store ammunition, and these were disguised gun emplacements that look from the outside like a medieval castle or whatever, but are actually constructed by the Nazis. There's examples of them all over Europe. They work quite hard at making pillboxes look like parts of the original structure. So I reckon this is a way of lifting ammo up to a gun emplacement further up we can't see.
Okay, so that's the shaft that you can see at that point in the tunnel. If we go back to here, so you are looking roughly there. That's to your left. To your right.
Can we just have a? Can you just show us the castle again and give us an idea of where we think we are?
Yeah, hang on a second.
We're over the burnt out. We're under the burnt out part. Would be my guess.
We go back to this. Oh, hang on. We go back to that photo. No. This is taken from the east side of the castle, so the other side to where you were. There's the flat garden there.
Yeah.
But roughly speaking, that big circle would be somewhere around underneath this pink bit at the front.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, where we are, we're not actually getting into the castle at all through coming in.
Not quite, no.
Everything is going in the opposite direction. And we want to get into the castle, don't we? Because that's the bit that's still standing.
Well, we want to make sure there's no. I'm sure the Major here will agree. What we're looking for is there any intelligence that we have left in the castle? If the pink bit burned down with all our intelligence paperwork in it, then we can assume that job's done. Now, it's interesting the Major didn't tell us that part was burned down, because, you know, that sort of structure is where it's easier to put in wiring for offices and stuff like that, as opposed to this old stonework.
He did tell you that there'd been a scorched earth policy and they burnt it on their way out.
Right.
What he didn't tell you was the other part of the castle had survived, but he also hadn't been to the castle yet. He'd only seen it from afar. So
the next question I have is, looking around the ground, is there any evidence anyone's been in here in the last 5 years?
Oh, we'll have a recon roll for that.
A recon roll?
Yeah.
No.
Anyone else?
So nothing
I can have a look.
Yeah, we'll have a look around.
15, yeah.
There are some discarded cigarette butts on the ground, and they are sufficiently non-decomposed for them to be in the last week or two.
Okay.
Right, yeah, but is somebody been down here having a fag, or has somebody been up there smoking a fag and dropping it down the hole?
Good question. No way of telling, really, from where you are.
No way to tell.
Are they squashed into the ground as if someone's put their foot on them, or are they like butts that have burnt down?
I think they're more likely butts that are burnt down.
So more likely flicked over the edge then than dropped and put out.
Not necessarily. It's stone. I mean, you know.
I know. Just saying.
Being a fairly long-term smoker, I can tell you don't always stud them out. If there's no risk of fire, then yeah, sometimes they burn down. Anyway, yeah, it maybe someone's throwing them down from above. You don't really know, though, from where you are. Okay, so there's the shaft there. Now, to your right, however, there is a smaller corridor going off, and there appears to be some sort of chamber at the end of it.
Let's come back to the map. You're still showing us a photo.
Yep.
Sorry,
yeah, I'll find it for you. Hang on. I now have literally hundreds of windows open, so give me a sec. That one. There you go. So you are looking down this bit here.
Yeah.
And somewhere in between that line there, there seems to be some sort of chamber.
Okay. Yeah, let's progress towards that then.
Sorry, I missed that. Go on.
Yeah, let's progress towards that.
Okay, right. There is a room there of some kind. It seems to pan out. There is also your first sign of habitation. There appears to be a light down there.
Oh.
You are maybe 10 meters away from the doorway into the room.
And is the doorway just open, or is there actually a door?
Well, it isn't really a doorway. It's more of an archway. There's no door as such.
Right. So let's turn the flashlight off.
Okay.
Rely on the light coming from that room.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I have my pistol out, not my assault rifle, as we are in a tunnel.
And
shall I sneak up using recon again? Is that the best option?
Yeah, well, forward observer or recon covers stealth and vigilance,
so
if you like.
I have recon, but I don't have forward observer. So
no, let's go with recon. Yeah, you can make a recon roll and go straight up to the front.
Yeah.
Or as near to the door as you can reasonably get.
Yeah, close enough to just try and peek in.
Yeah.
I roll 9-0, so that's a fail.
Right, can you roll again, please, Dave?
And don't get 90
Oh,
again.
no.
Yeah, don't get 90 or above.
36 this time.
Okay. Phew. All right. Yeah. You don't get as close as you want to get. But obviously there are people in the room. You can hear maybe 4, 5 voices. There seems to be a general conversation going on.
In Polish?
It's in Polish. You don't get all of it because some people are talking over other people, but it seems to be another argument of some kind. Certainly there seems to be an individual called Arcady in the room because people say his name several times. You hear some other Polish names of male names.
Is the name Arkady always said with respect? And is it
sort of, but not in terms of a military rank. More Arkady, the boss, as it were, rather than Arkady, the senior officer. If you see what I mean.
Right. The dictator or tyrant or.
Yeah, it's commanding some sort of respect, but in the same way as you might respect your boss in an office rather than your officer in a war. All right.
Right. Okay.
It's that sort of thing. They appear to be having an argument about how long they should be here for, because they've been here for at least a week or two, from what they're saying, and they have, and I quote them, found nothing.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd say there are four
Russian.
or five. This is definitely Polish, and you would say there are 4 or 5 of them.
Okay. I'll report that back to the rest of the squad then.
Okay. Right.
Sotto voce, I say to the Major, are we looking for intelligence? Or are we actually looking for the same thing these Poles are looking for?
Okay. Can you roll your int times 3 or less, Matt?
Int times 3 or less.
Yep.
Int is not my cleverest thing.
No, that's fine.
No, 37 against 30.
Okay. He looks like he's going to say something, then he doesn't. And he just stays quiet.
What are my motivations, my Joker wisdom?
Okay. Normally in Twilight, you don't actually have those motivations for player characters. They're more for NPCs. But because these are pre-gens, I gave them a sort of hint to play. So they are your personality traits, if you like. There's no real reward or bonus for playing against those traits, but they are the sort of elements of your character, if you like.
Role-playing guide.
Yeah. Ordinarily, like I say, they're only used for NPCs. I did it for the pre-gens because I thought it might help sort of set up a character that you know.
Yeah, following them.
Yeah, I think they're reasonably self-explanatory, but if you have an issue, I'll go through them. But yeah, they're just a sort of guideline, really. Okay, so yeah, so there's a room ahead with 5 guards. Dave, you can make another recon roll, please.
Oh, okay, well, let's hope I can. No, failed 60.
Okay, well, the first warning you get then is you hear raised voices, and it's obvious someone is now walking towards your position in the room. They're not out of the room yet.
They haven't seen us, but we know they're coming in.
They haven't seen you yet, but they're definitely coming your way.
Okay, are we killing these guys?
That's an decision you have to make in the moment.
Yeah. Guns or surrender?
The Major.
Yeah, go for it, Raymond.
The Major basically pulls out a knife. I think he's made his mind up.
Right. I'll go for knife too.
Knife to a gunfight.
Well,
silent.
Okay.
I give the Major a look.
Okay, I'm going to take a position and aim down the corridor with my rifle. Right. And if the knife fight goes badly, I can shoot them because I'm not very good in. I'm good with a rifle, but I'm not very good with a knife.
The Major rather elegantly melts back into the shadows of the tunnel. Okay.
So what skill with melting into the shadows of the tunnel?
Recon.
It's melting into the shadows skill.
Yes, it's
I don't have it in my list.
Oh, well, the Major has a special skill box for that. Okay, Twilight's imperfect. It has recon to cover all this stuff, all right?
Yeah.
Hopefully the new version will address this in a better way, but
Forward Observer, surely.
Well, Forward Observer is actually calling in indirect fire, but there is also an indirect fire skill. But it's kind of a
Forward
mess.
Observer is one end of that
spectrum,
process, and indirect fire is the other end of that process.
Yeah. And I mean, they kind of cover sort of reconnaissance of an area, but recon is a catch-all stealth and sneak and vigilance skill, which I find annoying because the one thing you say most often in a Twilight game is make a recon roll.
Recon roll, recon roll.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a recon roll for melting into the shadow.
Yeah, so will I.
Recon.
Anyway,
I get 81 against my skill of 10.
93.
Well, I pass.
Matt couldn't be more obvious if you put a spotlight on him and is standing in the middle of the tunnel with seconds to go before someone comes out of the room.
I actually passed my recon roll.
Yeah, passed.
Everyone else stands out the way, whereas Matt finds the only pool of light in the tunnel and stands in it.
Well, actually, no. I'm realizing that I can't melt into the shadows as everybody around me does. So I go forward as an innocent, putting my knife away to meet them head on.
That means I can't use grenades.
Okay. Two guys come out of the room. They are dressed similarly to the guys you saw on top of the wall earlier, or those of you that did. They're both carrying assault rifles. They immediately see Matt. They do not, however, see the rest of you. One of them shouts something at you in Polish, so you can have a Polish roll for that.
Oh, Polish, I can understand. 14. What did he say?
He basically says, "Halt, who are you?"
I put my hand up and say,
In what
I've been locked down here since 1995.
Since 1945, surely.
95, for God's sake, I'm not that old.
Right. Okay, you doing that in Polish or English?
I'm doing it in English. I might say, I might hide the fact I understand Polish.
Okay, well, they are a little taken aback by your statement.
Broad smile, friendly demeanor.
Yeah. One of them is pointing his rifle in your general direction in a sort of vaguely threatening manner, but he's not actually aiming it at you. The other guy seems completely bemused by you, as if this was the last thing he expected to see was an American soldier claiming to have been down here for the last 5 years. You got lost as a tourist. Where's my group? I've lost my group.
Person with the flag.
Really lost my group.
Yeah. This was meant to be a gift shop. Anyway, moving on.
The tunnels are much larger than they look. Much more extensive.
Yeah, what do you mean there's a war? Anyway, so they start walking towards you, but they are still a little bit bemused by you.
Andy, I'm going to take aim at the head of the one that's pointing his rifle at Matt, but I'm not going to fire.
Okay. That will count as establishing your shot if we start combat. All right. Just remember that. Anyway. So yeah.
So the one guy appears to have heard what I've said and understood it in English, right?
Yes.
So say no.
The idea that they speak some English.
Honestly, I'm just looking for shelter. I found a tunnel and I came in. I'm on my own. I'm looking for food. I've got a little bit of rations to sell. Take me to your leader, I'll say.
He motions towards the rifle you have slung over your back.
Yeah. And I don't move my hands towards it. My hands are in the air, but I indicate that he's indicating it. And a quizzical look on my face.
Drop it.
Okay, yeah, moving slowly, I say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get all their attention, and I hook it over my shoulder,
so you're
off
making
my
a
shoulder,
show of,
carefully kneeling down on one knee, one hand in the air, putting it down.
And the pistol.
Are you waiting for me to shoot, are you, Matt?
No, I'm waiting. And I take my pistol out of my
the holster or whatever,
holster. I am not very good with it, so I'm putting that down.
So, Matt, Andy, can I get a sense while this is happening? Can I get any sense whether these guys are kind of still Warsaw Pact Russian affiliated, or whether they're just?
You have no way of telling. They're just civilians with guns.
While I'm doing this, I might ask him actually: are you Russian? Are you Polish?
He laughs when you say Russian, and he's obviously speaking with a Polish accent.
Yeah, I'm still not pretending. I'm pretending I understand no Polish.
Okay, well, the laugh is fairly easily understood. Laughter tends to be the same in all languages. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, he's definitely, he finds the idea that he might be a Soviet laughable. He's not.
Cool. So I will, if he's not Soviet, then he's a friend. So my smile will broaden and I'll say, then we're all in the same boat, just looking for a way out of this mess, this hell.
He says, maybe we are on the same sea.
I'll take C. I'll take the same C.
Okay, so he beckons you to come forward.
Okay.
Right.
Leaving
Dave.
my weapons behind me.
Yep.
I take a tentative couple of steps forward towards him.
Yep.
Hands in the air still.
Yeah. Okay.
Seriously, I know. I guess this is your place. I thought it might be deserted. There's just and I point down one of the tunnels behind me. I said, I just found a place in. I thought it might make good shelter.
Okay. He says, Arcady can talk to you.
Sorry?
Arcady can talk to you. And he
Arcady?
Yeah, Arcady can talk to you. And he says, he beckons you into the room. The other guy, the guy who had his rifle in your general direction, is obviously going to wait for you to enter the room before he goes in. So you'll be between the two of them.
So I am. So they're kind of the talkative guys ahead of me, guiding me into the room.
Yep.
The other guys behind me. Okay,
Yep.
I will enter the room. Looking around, how many people are there?
There are 5 people, including the 2 with you. It's almost immediately obvious, simply by their age, which one Arcady is, because he must be in his 50s, whereas the rest are in their sort of mid-20s. All right. They're all dressed in civilian attire. They are all armed really about the same. They all have AKMRs, pistols, knives, whatever. The room appears to be in a makeshift camp in that there are various items strewn around the room that sleeping bags, cooking equipment, other things. It looks like it's been their base of operations, this room, for a little while. They're all just staring at you, except Arcady, who has a sort of curious expression on his face and says, why are you here?
You must be Mr. Arcady, I say. I'm here. I'm running from the east and I'm heading west, and I was looking for a dry place to sleep is all. Maybe scavenge some food. Me, I've still got that coil of copper wire I took. I said, pick up anything useful. I mean, if it's copper wire, you can have it back.
And then he says to the guy next to you in Polish, which you can make a roll to understand if you want.
22. My Polish is good.
He says, check he's alone.
At this point, because I don't want them going out to say that, I will admit that I know a bit of Polish. I say, oh no, yeah, I'm alone. Nobody came in here with me.
Did we hear? Are we hearing this conversation, Andy?
Well, I assume that Matt is bigging it up a little, to be honest.
So we could hear Arcady say, "Fine, Jackie's alone."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the banter between all of them has now stopped, so it's relatively easy to hear which one's saying what. So, at the moment, the bulk of you are in the corridor looking down into the room. Only Matt is in the room, and he has a guy between him and you lot, standing there with a gun basically at his back, but not quite.
Can we still see any of that through the opening from where we are?
Yeah, you can just about see Matt and the guy behind him, but you can't see the rest of the people in the room.
But the guy I was aiming at, I can see him because he's pointing his gun.
The guy with the gun. Yeah, he's standing between you and Matt, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So
I can pay my way, I say to Arcady. I'm a pretty skilled mechanic. If there's stuff you want to fix, I can fix it. I can be useful.
Okay.
You know, just for a couple of nights sleep, and then I'll be on my way.
He goes in English. He goes, sure, sure. We all be friends here, sure. But he makes a gesture to the guy behind you, who turns and starts to walk out into the corridor again. Okay, Dave, the guy is now coming along the corridor.
Yeah.
He's looking around.
Okay, so before he sees us,
Another few minutes, he's going to see you.
yeah. Before he sees us in Polish,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say quietly,
Yeah.
in an effort to not tell the others, drop your rifle. We could be friends.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you are a native Polish speaker, aren't you?
Yes, I am 100%.
Right. So he stops, and then he drops to one knee and starts blind firing down the tunnel, shouting,
Okay,
"Others! Others!"
Shoot him.
I'm gonna shoot him in the head then.
Right.
As I said, that's what I was aiming.
He's blind firing, so most of his shots are actually hitting the ceiling further down at the minute. If you want to hit him, right now on your character sheet, you have combat rifleman.
Yep.
Okay. The skill in combat rifleman in Twilight is a bit
Different.
misleading. Your base skill, right, which let's say for argument's sake is 60. I don't know what it actually is on your character.
It is 100 for me.
It's 100, right? 100 is your base skill, but you never actually roll against your base skill. Your skill is always modified by range. All right. So your close one will be 60.
Yeah.
Your medium one will be 30 I think.
And 10.
And then 10, right? So at close range, which effectively is what this is, your skill is actually 60.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Your base skill just decides what your range skills will be. Okay. That's all it's used for.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, cool. Get that.
Right. So this will be an average roll because he's backlit and you can barely miss him, really. Now, next thing is single shot, 3-round burst or continuous fire.
3.
3. All right. Roll your dice.
Okay, just roll it once and I need 60.
You need to roll it once and you need 60 or less.
Right, okay. 60 exactly.
Sorry?
60 exactly.
That's good enough. Roll a d10, please.
Yep. 7.
Okay. Now, you are using an AKMR, aren't you?
That's right, yep.
Okay. Well, you've got him in the left leg.
4 dice, 6 plus 6.
Okay. You rolled 7. Oh, boy. The damage on that is 2. So you get 8 points of damage plus 4d6.
46.
Yep.
Those two d6s are stuck together. How the hell did that happen? Okay. So that's 8 plus 46.
Yep.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 18 in total.
Okay. You basically shot his leg from out of it under him. He's wounded. He's not dying or anything. He will collapse at the end of this turn. Right? He will collapse on that side.
Okay.
Apologies for the dog barking in the background there. Right. So, yeah, so he's gone down. He's still blind firing into the ceiling. Now, coolness under fire is the stat that you need to look at here. Okay. Coolness under fire, the lower your coolness under fire, the quicker you go in the round.
Okay.
All right? So it ranges from 0 to 10. Yeah. 0 is blindingly fast, 10 is as slow as a slow thing. All right. The way it's counted, though, is hesitations. So let's just cover this basically very quickly. A combat turn is 30 seconds. It's divided into 5 6-second rounds. All right. Take your coolness under fire, divide it by 2. That's how many rounds you miss at the beginning of a turn. Right. So if your coolness under fire is, say, 4, you miss the first 2 rounds of combat in that turn. Right.
If it's an odd number and you're doing halves, you round halves up.
No, you round down. You always round down in Twilight pretty much everywhere. In fact, I think there's only one case you round up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you hesitate for those 2 turns. Now, what was your coolness under fire, Dave?
4.
4. So you hesitate for 2 turns.
2 rounds,
sorry,
yeah.
2 rounds in that turn. All right. That only applies to new actions, though. You carry on a repetitive action or an ongoing action. All right. So if you're just emptying your gun and whatever, you carry throughout the whole turn. Yeah, it's only a new action. It's your hesitation, basically. All right.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the next turn, we'll be going on corners under fire, but because you fired first and started the combat, you start first anyway. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So this guy, he gets a simultaneous shot off, but he's just blind firing anyway, so he obviously misses you. The rest of you can have an action, but that will literally be to either close or hold position. There's nothing else you can do really at the minute. So you can either close to this guy or you can hold where you are. Matt, however, the guy in front of you, right? What's your corners under fire, Matt?
3.
Okay, you have 1 hesitation. So the guy in front of you will act after you. He's going for a knife.
I am going for my grenade.
Right.
What a fool. He brings a knife to a grenade fight.
Okay, you have a grenade. In fact, you have 4 of them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Matt, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear you do that. Because when you walked in that room, I'm like, well, now I can't throw a grenade in there.
I did notice when I said, Matt, put down your gun and your rifle, Matt never actually said to me, he's not mentioning my grenades.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he would notice that, but okay, that's cool. Right, okay, so you're literally just pulling the pin on a grenade, I assume, and holding it.
Well, what I'm doing is I hope to get my grenade, pull the pin out, obviously, keep the clamp down, say, shoot me. I don't know if I can say this, but the next round will be shoot me and you're in the blast radius.
Right, okay. You can make a thrown weapon roll for that.
Yeah, well, I'm holding it.
I know, but it's pulling the pin. Or is it a catastrophic failure, basically?
Thrown weapon. Thrown weapon is fabulous. My
Thanks.
thrown weapon is.
It doesn't matter. I just care if you get 90 or above.
Okay. I got 0-4.
Oh, well, you've well and truly got that grenade held in your hand like this.
You're juggling them, Matt. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not. I've only got a thrown weapon skill at 20. I'm not going to do anything stupid.
Oh, that's it. Right, okay. The guy with the knife hesitates more at that point. He has his knife out, but he's backing away from you. He's now assuming a more defensive posture. Right.
And that wasn't Arcady. That was the talkative
the guy there was the talkative guy who beckoned you into the room. Arcady is also backing away from you, but didn't draw a knife.
Okay.
All right. Okay. In the corridor. Right. Now, we will skip to the beginning of the next turn because, to be honest, no one else can really do much at this point. So, at the next turn, the guy falls over onto the ground. Right. That's when his leg gives out. Dave, you can fire again. He will fire immediately after you, and the rest of you act on your corners under fire. So if you beat Dave's corners under fire, you act first.
I'll shoot him.
You'll shoot him. Your corners under fire is?
0.
Yeah, I thought it might be. Right, okay.
I've got my pistol. I'm using my pistol.
Okay.
Which I'm not very good at, but I'm going to shoot him anyway.
What's the pistol at close?
Yeah. So 18 is what I need to get under.
18.
18. I get a 32 and miss him.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it just screams off the wall of the tunnel behind you. There's nothing behind him. Okay. Anyone acting before Dave? You on 4? So there's 2.
I've got 3 as well.
Okay. You can roll at this point, Bruce.
Okay.
So what do you do? Are you shooting or are you doing something else?
I'm going to shoot with the assault rifle. The assault rifle is my better option.
And you're shooting the guy in the tunnel, or are you trying to shoot into the room?
It'll be the guy in the tunnel because he's the first immediate threat.
Okay.
Okay, so that is 55. My normal skill is in combat is 55.
Yeah, but it's the close, medium, long thing next to it. There's 3 numbers.
Yeah.
So what is your close for combat rifleman? The first number? 3.
That'll be 32, so he doesn't.
No, okay, you miss. Right, Dave then.
No, I get to go in the other room, and I will take a step towards Arcady, saying, I've got a company of men behind me.
Yeah.
Your action now can save your men's lives.
Okay. Dave.
If this guy's going to carry on shooting, I'm going to shoot him again.
You think he probably is going to carry on shooting. He's just been shot.
Yeah. I did tell him to put the gun down and we could be friends.
You absolutely did.
Tried.
Yeah.
43, so that's a hit.
Right. Roll your d10.
This is with a 3-round burst again.
Okay, roll your d10.
7 again.
Left leg again.
Him in the left leg.
Why you should leg? Anyway.
I'm a leg girl, that's what I am.
Yeah.
Well, he got down on one knee, so the knee he didn't get down on is in front of most of his body.
Okay.
Is that 46 plus 8 again?
8 again. Yeah, it's your base damage times 4 plus 4d6 for close range.
So what is the firing, doing a 3-round burst? Or is he firing 3 shots or is he firing?
He is firing 3 shots. I'm taking it as 1 damage for the minute for expediency.
Okay.
Otherwise, we get into continuing fire and whatever, and I don't really want to run that at the minute. We can.
No, I wasn't doing a full burst. I was just wanted to do.
I would just take the 3-round burst as a single shot for the minute. I was just making sure he wasn't doing full auto as all.
There's 8, 18, 20, 26 this time.
Oh, okay. He's unconscious and going to be bleeding out unless he gets medical attention.
Okay.
You basically mangled his leg. He won't be walking for a while. He may have a family. You should feel bad. Anyway, moving on. I'm
aggressive. I'm aggressive, and he had the chance, and he fired first. So.
I know it's perfectly reasonable, though. You know, to defend it. Okay, he's seriously down and out. He won't be firing. Oh no, he does get a simultaneous fire back, so he's likely to miss, and he does. But that's it. He's down.
Okay.
Right, Arcady is next. Actually.
I'm smiling at him. The corridor. We can be friends. That's the last thing he said.
Yeah. Then you pulled a grenade, which isn't a very friendly thing to do.
But I'm holding it.
Yes. You haven't fully delivered this gift, I have to be honest.
We're trying to be nice.
Right, Arcady turns and starts to run. His men are in disarray at this point. The guy with the knife is backing away from you. The other 2 guys are still seated and not engaging at the moment.
Okay.
What do you want to do, Matt? Are you pursuing him?
My turn to do a thing, is it?
Yeah, well, you can at this point. You can react to him. So he's turning.
So he's turned to run. I'd shout after him. Are you a coward or a rich man?
He's carrying on running.
Just throw the grenade at him.
I'm not. Then it leaves me defensive with 3 other men in the room.
Your company is coming.
Board, I'm holding on to the
grenade and dive out of the room.
Howie, your company is coming, mate.
Right, okay, so you are getting back to the beginning of the next turn. Then the guy in the corridor is down. Matt is still holding a grenade and watching the receding back of Arcady, and the rest
and keeping a weather eye on the people that are around me.
Oh, very much so, I'm sure. And the other 3 guys are, well, one has a knife, the other 2 haven't drawn weapons yet. So you can close on the room, presumably, if you so wish.
Yep.
Okay. I will have a recon roll from the players outside of the room, if I may.
Okay.
Gone.
0, 4. 4.
Okay.
11.
Can I just check, because I got zeros in both the dice. Is that 100 or is that 0?
That's 100, isn't it?
That's 100.
Normally.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's bad.
Yeah. Let's see what the next set will tell me then. That's okay. It's 79.
Oh,
79. No.
It doesn't matter anyway. The only thing you notice is the major isn't with you as you come into the room. He's disappeared. Right. Okay. You can obviously close into the room. Right. There's a guy with a knife facing Matt who's holding a grenade. 2 guys seated who haven't drawn weapons, and you can hear the receding footsteps of somebody running down the tunnel in front of Matt, and Matt shouting something about a coward.
Can we see him, Arcady?
Just about, yeah. You can see his shadows. He's running down the tunnel.
Can I see him well enough to have a shot?
You can. It'll be difficult though.
That's the third of the three numbers, yeah?
No, that's the range. The range will count as medium, so that's the middle number.
Yeah.
And difficult makes it half that.
Okay.
So that would be 15, I think. Roughly
Yeah, I'm
you.
aggressive. Yeah, it'd be 15. I might as well give it a try.
Okay.
1, 10.
10.
1 and 0. 10. I hit him.
Oh, roll your d10.
It's a 5.
Oh, darn.
5 is the abdomen. This could be messy.
Okay.
8 plus 4. Sorry, no. Medium range. 6 plus 3d6. Sorry, please.
6 plus 3d6. Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite good again, though. That's 20.
That's 2/3. Okay. He falls prone. He's not dead, but he does fall prone. He's down for the minute. Okay. So, right. Now you've all come into the room. Matt, you're holding a live grenade.
Yeah, I'm
not
putting
coming
the
into
pin
the room
back
with
in.
a live grenade.
No, I'm at the doorway in cover as best I can.
It's amazing how people enter the room and then suddenly exit the room again.
I was not entering the room with a grenade.
No, okay, fair enough.
It's like that gif of Homer, isn't it, going backwards into the fence?
Okay. All normal here. Yeah. Okay, Matt. I will have a standard agility roll to put the pin back in. So the agility times
Not my
5
thrown
or
weapon
less.
skill.
No, not this time.
That's good because my agility is 30 as opposed to my thrown weapon skill.
So,
obviously, I'm not letting go if I can't get the pin in.
No, that's fine.
Throw it at Arcade.
I can't get the pin in. I'm fumbling with my grenade.
Okay, you have the pin in one hand, you have the grenade in the other, but for some reason the pin just won't go back in that hole.
No, it's really hard.
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
That's what
Your hands are
You can
shaking.
you can have another go in a minute, or maybe someone else.
I would
can
like to
try and
point
help
out I'm a mechanic. I'm all about putting things back together.
you. Yes, and this one's eluded you
That's
somewhat.
true. It's true.
Yeah,
The
but I'm just
simplest
saying,
mechanism
rather
is
than
often the
agility,
hardest.
how about I use my mechanic skill?
I'll give you that. Go on then.
Okay.
Don't roll 90 or more.
36.
I think you probably put the pin back in, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Arcady is lying in the tunnel, and you basically have 3 prisoners now, it seems, because they were only armed with 1 knife between them, it seems, at the moment. None of them have drawn any guns or firearms or anything else.
If someone could back me up, I'm going to go and...
I'll come with you. I've made friends with them already.
Yeah, you're well known to them, Matt, obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to move up with a rifle trained on him. So if he pulls any kind of gun or any kind of weapon, or seems to be fumbling with a grenade, I'm going to shoot him.
No, he's not. He's sweating. He's bleeding in his abdomen. He's not in a good way at the minute.
I'm disarming the guy we shot in the hall back behind us.
Okay. He had 2 turns, didn't he? Before you went back to him. He's died. So
Now he doesn't have a gun either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've got his gun anyway. It's another AKMR, a few rounds of ammunition in the magazine.
Perfect.
He did actually spray something like 20 shots down the corridor, but more as panic fire, blind firing into the dark. So he didn't actually, do anything with them. Okay. So you got 3 prisoners, and Arcady, he's bleeding out from the stomach.
We'll drag Arcady back into the room. And
we'll kill him. We need to ask him the question straight away. What are you here looking for? I will try and say this in Polish.
Well, I can say
but
it.
I don't say it very well.
I'll say.
Where are your sardines? I think.
Hovercraft is full of eels.
Yeah, he looks at you and goes, "Sardines" in English.
I'll say what he meant to say was, "What were you here looking for?"
I'm gonna keep my eyes out for the major while they're doing the the interrogation.
Okay. Arcady is in a lot of pain. But he says something that sounds like poshag.
Poshag?
Poshag.
You can make a Polish roll for that.
Well, I speak Polish fluently.
Or maybe train.
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 As in choo-choo train.
As in choo-choo train. Although if you're actually saying in an interrogation, where is the choo-choo train? There's a problem, I think. Yeah, choo-choo train, as in steam train.
I can
What
can I
kind
give
of-
him a shot of anything? I've got atropine.
Atropine is a nerve agent.
No,
Here,
I don't
have
give him a
this
shot of that.
ricin. Go on.
I've got a basic medical kit. Can I give him an analgesic of some sort?
Yes, you can. You can
I've
patch
got-
him up a little bit. You can stop him
I've
bleeding
got-
out a bit.
I got medical of 50.
You have a
All right,
qualified
I'll
medic.
I'm the actual medic.
Yeah. Okay, so you put them
Keep
away
an eye
with
out
that
for the mate. I
band-aids.
don't trust him.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop his bleeding, I suppose. And I don't want to use too many medical supplies on him.
Well, with a skill of, I think you have a skill of 100, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. With a skill of 100, you can easily stop the bleeding and stabilize him. But he's going to be in a bad way for a while. It was a through and through, so he's basically okay, but he's going to bleed.
I get a 70 on the roll, so it's
Yeah, he's more stable than he was. Basically, you can get him up to a sitting position. You can stop him bleeding as heavily. He's still bleeding slightly, obviously. And you can prevent him from dying, but that'll be about as far as it goes for the moment.
Yep. We're in a tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm not quite trusting my two Polish comrades here. So I'm torn between going back to retrieve my weapons, but I do just want to listen in as much as I can on the conversation that I know is about to take place in Polish.
Okay.
Yeah. So what train are you looking for? Where is this train? Underground train?
He says there's a train or a train carriage somewhere in these tunnels.
A train carriage?
Yeah. That's basically what you get so far out of it.
And why is this carriage important? What's important with it?
He says something that sounds like Königsberg, or it might be another town, but it sounds like Königsberg to you. He says it's the German train.
So is this like an old Nazi train full of treasure then? Is that what it is?
He sort of nods at that.
And it's hidden down here. It's not it's not like a train line that runs from here to Czechoslovakia or something.
He says there isn't now, but there was.
So we might be able to walk under the mountains rather than walk over them. I'm thinking.
Perhaps. He's not sure of where the train line goes. But the train line, there was a spur line to the main train line that came up to the castle. Or near to the castle, in fact.
And you haven't found this?
No, he hasn't found it.
How many more men have you got here?
This is it.
And the two up top who are guarding that we spotted on the way in.
You see him resignedly admit that there are some more up at the top. Yeah, there are 4 men actually at the top.
There's no history skill or anything. Unsurprising.
No, well, that's Twilight for you.
Sure.
It's very geared up for military stuff, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
However, I mean, there is an interrogation skill which, Dave, you can roll against for the next question, which I feel might be more revealing.
Okay, I have no interrogation skill.
Yeah,
So
no interrogation skill.
Okay. Anyway, that's what you get out of him so far.
Okay.
I'm struggling with player knowledge here.
Yeah, you might.
No,
have
don't worry about it. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good. So I guess the question I want to know is, how did you get down here?
There are tunnels on the other side of the castle. They came in that way.
Okay.
And who sent you?
No one. They came here based on stories. There's no one running them. the NATO pulled out, there was a chance to have a look around the castle unobstructed, as it were.
Mm.
I'm gonna pull out the Geiger counter.
Say again?
I want to pull out the Geiger counter and just double check the area we're in.
Yeah, that's a good
The
idea.
tunnel area you're in is substantially lower than the readings you've had before.
Oh, that's a relief. Good.
You guess that the rock around you is giving you some sort of protection or cover, or
Yeah, great. Great.
okay.
So there is a treasure train down here someplace, and you are looking for it.
Yep.
I guarantee you, I'm going to say this in Polish to Minka. I guarantee you that's what the major is here looking for as well.
Seems likely, doesn't it?
You understand that, Matt, if you're standing
I
there.
do not understand that.
So I'm going to, then I'm going to say in English to him. So we are here looking for NATO intelligence papers. You haven't, or intelligence documents. You haven't seen anything like that, have you?
He shakes his head and says, if there was anything like that, it would have been destroyed in the fire upstairs.
Was the whole castle destroyed?
I give Howie.
The occupied part, the NATO part was, yes, they burnt it.
I give Howie a look.
Yeah. So there are parts of the castle still standing, but they're not occupied, or they weren't used. NATO only used the more modern building at the front.
Thank you. Any sign of the major yet?
You can have a recon roll if you want.
I'm asking my companions who are keeping an eye out for him.
Yeah, we'll have a look out, see if we can find him.
Okay. No?
No, it was a 97.
Oh, okay. You see a tunnel, Bruce. It's a long tunnel. That's
where did
all
that
you
come
can
from?
see.
I can't see the tunnel because of the
You
tunnel
are
in the way.
surprised. You are surprised by the sudden appearance of a tunnel. No, there's no sign of him. He's gone. So, yeah, moving on. It's up to you what you do now, really, with these guys. Arcady, however, I was just looking for this before this started. Hang on. There you go. Arcady gives you that.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That is a map that he's made of the tunnels, which is somewhat better than the map that the tourist guide showed you.
so we came in at point 4.
You came in at point 4, skipped past
We've
these two
seen
bits.
shaft 9.
You've
Yep.
seen shaft 9. You are now in this box here.
And
And
does
you can see the other bits.
this is
The
interesting.
numbers just indicate entrances, by the way. There's nothing special about them particularly. It's just the
Okay,
shafts
but
and the entrances.
This is a long shaft up, a lift shaft style. What's this? Is this just a ventilation shaft?
Which one is which? I can't see.
Oh,
what you're
sorry,
looking
I'm
at.
looking with, I'm pointing with my cursor. Why can't
Yep.
you see it?
The thin
know
shaft
that.
pointing towards 3.
Yeah.
The big shaft pointing towards 3 is actually horizontal, if you look, and that's going out to the side of the castle on the other side.
No,
That's
no,
where
no,
they
no,
came
no,
in.
No.
The one between 3 and 2.
Oh, the thin
Pointing up
shaft.
from a little
The thin
square.
one. Yeah.
That's a ventilation shaft.
Yeah.
Right.
You think that 9 and the other shaft right on the other side between 2 and 1 were originally intended to be either big ventilation shafts or lift shafts, but neither of them are in use.
So how did you get down here? You came down 9? You came down
No,
that shaft at
No,
the
they
end?
came through 3. Entrance 3. It's on the
And
other
are-
side of the castle to where you
Are we in that
In the way
block
we did.
in the center?
Yeah.
You are in this block here
Yeah.
right now.
Huh?
You can turn
So the-
right down here.
And
This
which
is the
which
chamber.
shaft did Arcady go down before
He was running down here.
Large one.
that main one there?
Yeah.
So I have to say, if we're looking for the major, he
Yeah.
can only be in the areas marked 4 to
No.
Because he
One
didn't
up the
come
shaft.
in.
One up
He
9.
didn't
Could
come
have
into the
gone
room,
down
did
that
he?
shaft. He could have gone down that other tunnel right there.
He could have gone along here,
3
across here, down
Yeah.
there, and then be anywhere in this lot.
anywhere else.
All
Yeah,
right. Okay.
you can go anywhere.
So but those two are connected. Those two tunnels there at the shaft, are they?
If we're
This is all connected up here. Yeah, you can go across there. You can go to that bit from there and that bit from there. So,
why would he leave us at this point?
He wants the treasure train.
I know, but you know, he could have got. Was the whole point of us just to shoot Arcady and his men then?
something maybe you can ask him when you talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if we haven't shot him first, I'm gonna reload my AKM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reloading my pistol.
Okay. So now you have Arcady's home-drawn map, as it were. What are you intending to do next?
Did Arcady have a rifle?
Well, there were rifles in the room. You assume one of them belonged to Arcady, but you didn't have it on him when you shot him. No.
I just want to pick up whatever ammo is left as well.
They are all armed with AKMRs, so it's all compatible with what you have.
Yeah.
Not compatible with the M16s, but hey,
No.
you know.
How much ammo? How much?
Probably another 50 to 100 rounds, something like that between them. They didn't have a lot, really.
Okay. Well, I can share that with Raymond.
Yep, that's fine.
That's cool.
So I'm just going to start out when we look at this map. I mean, this idea is to try and find this train. This train might be heading west. Thinking about, hey, Howie, if we were to design, if we were to doing some sort of civil engineering design into it, how would we think where it might be? If these guys haven't found it, maybe we can work out for the map where it might be a good place to look for it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping someone else has got civil engineering better than mine, but
yeah. Well, if I were going to, I'd be looking at this area over here as being
okay.
Describe it, Matt. Describe it, Matt.
the area by 1 with the ventilation shaft.
Yeah.
Would be the most likely area, but surely Arcady and his gang have already searched all this area.
I was going to say, I'm asking Arcady, where's the unsearched part? How do we get to the unsearched part of the tunnels that you haven't looked at?
Arcady's convinced that if there is a train, it has to be either near one, where there's a sort of platform section that goes off from the rest of the tunnel, or further down, there's like a figure 8, like a squared off figure 8 at the bottom. And he thinks it's likely to be in one of those two areas. The only reason being that kind of lines up with the railway line outside.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's not sure. And he hasn't found anything down there yet.
You've gone and explored these areas.
They have looked through everything, yes. And he hasn't found anything yet.
But the train line continues on, presumably. The tunnel goes on and on and on and on.
So
no, this was the end of the line, literally.
Gentlemen,
this was the spur line. Yeah.
Are we here to get rich or are we here to get home?
I say get home.
Me too.
There isn't anything, gold isn't really worth anything, is it, if you're dead?
Alcohol is worth a lot. We got a full tank. We can scavenge this place for some other stuff, and we could go on our way. I don't need to be weighed down with bars of gold, however many bars of gold there are. We ain't going to be able to drive this train to Czechoslovakia.
No.
Okay.
Unless we are able to drive the train to Czechoslovakia.
Or unless we can get the Jeep up here and drive. Get Lieutenant Sharp back up.
What's happening to the world? Is there going to be a world where gold has value and we can use it?
Gold's always going to have value.
Yeah.
Gold has a value. The question is not so much the value of gold, but what you can actually spend it on.
Yeah, that's the point.
Because
I'm making. What's left of the world?
The problem is that
it worth
gold Yeah, but the problem is the gold has a value, but it also has a cost in that once you have gold, you have to look after it. So not everyone will accept gold on the simple grounds that it can be taken from them rather easily. If you see what I mean? It's easier to trade in commodities than gold. Having said that, gold always has a value.
I mean, if we're talking about jewelry, we can wear jewelry and walk out with hundreds of dollars on our body. But we're talking about bullion. Maybe millions of dollars, but we can't move it.
No.
And you Poles, you may have a different viewpoint. You may want to rebuild this godforsaken country of yours, and the gold's going to be useful. I just want to get back.
American.
I used to think you were okay, you fucking yank. Now you're pissing me off a bit.
Well, I'm not blaming you Poles for it. Apart from siding with the Russians at the start of the war. But at the end of the day, the Russians have bombed Poland to shit. I will quite happily live in America without the gold, is what I'm saying.
So it's up to you what you want to do now. You can either proceed further into the tunnel complex, or you can call this a day and get out of there.
How much time do we think we had before the Russians were arriving here?
You probably have another day or two at least. Probably longer than that, actually.
Seeing it's probably quite late now, does it make sense to spend the night here? And it doesn't hurt. Why not go and have a little search of one?
It certainly would be late afternoon to evening, and it's probably not a good idea to go outside in the dark with the mines and everything else. But it's up to you.
Oh yeah,
we can spend the night here, no problem.
Arkady, did you have your men put those mines out?
No.
No.
He doesn't know where the mines came from. They were there when he arrived.
Okay.
Oh.
Shit. Okay. Actually, did I understand that? No, I didn't.
The sardines were in the tin when he got here. Okay.
We can relay that one.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
I'll tell them. He and his men didn't put the mines out there. That's kind of concerning to me.
Which implies somebody else did. Yeah.
That implies a third party, fourth party at this point.
Still probably safer to spend the night here than it is to spend the night out in the open.
Yeah.
Hold on. Have we accounted for all of Arcady's men?
I doubt it.
You saw 2 people up on the wall. We've got 3 people prisoner here.
Arcady said there's 4 upstairs.
Yep.
So
you only have half his force at the moment.
Right.
Has Arcady got... I'm saying to Arcady, how do you communicate with your men upstairs? Do you have a radio?
Radios don't work in the tunnels. Or don't work out of the tunnel. You can communicate in the tunnels with someone on the radio, but not with someone on the surface.
How do you talk to them up the top?
I go around and talk to them. Yeah. Unfortunate, but that's the way the tunnels are.
And you go in and out through number 3 on this map?
Yeah. It's the clearest entrance. It's easy just to walk in and out.
Will your men stay up there, or will they come down here at night?
Well, they'll come down to get something to eat eventually. They're not going to stay there forever. Plus, also, they don't stand on 24-hour guard. They'll come down soon. Hour or 2, maybe.
And what are we going to do with the 3 guys that we've taken prisoner over and above Arcady?
That's also
Dave, we are not going to spend an hour discussing whether we're killing them or not. That's out of character. We keep them alive, in my thing, because you reported they weren't massively keen on Arcady anyway.
No.
There seemed to be an argument about leaving.
Yeah.
I think they thought that they'd spent enough time on a wild goose chase down here.
Yeah.
If they want to leave, let's let them leave. Give them an option. But if they want to help us, search for the tunnel for another day or 2.
We just replace Arcady as their boss. Is that it?
We don't want to search for the tunnel.
I want to find the major. I don't care about the train.
That's true. The major's
why do you care about the major?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he brought us in here on a wild goose chase under false pretenses. His orders are invalid. But Do we need to court-martial him?
Well, I'm more worried about our Jeep because he knows where it is.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Sharp as well. Nobody cares about it.
I'm kind of beginning to feel like we ought to just bug out and head over the mountains.
Yeah. You speak sense.
We came here on false pretenses. None of us particularly is worried about the gold. There's some kind of radiation here that's going to do us harm. The Major's fucked off anyway. He might be going to pick up our Jeep and get the hell out, leaving us to walk the rest of the way.
He's looking for the treasure.
Yeah, but then he needs someone to help him carry the treasure, surely.
Yeah, surely.
Or some vehicle to load it on. Okay. Is there any other? There must be quite a lot of dust around here. Can I use my recon to see if I can follow the Major's trail in the dust?
There is some dust on the floor, and you can have a go at trying to find him.
Yeah.
Make a recon roll.
95. No, somebody else want to try?
I already tried earlier, so I already hit the 90s.
So Dave and Bruce, Minka and Roberts believe that the Major has turned into a bat and blown out the tunnels because there's no evidence that contradicts that viewpoint. So that leaves the others if they want to roll for recon.
No, I mean, if he'd been dripping oil, I'd be able to follow the trail, but I've got 47 otherwise.
Yes, he's suddenly turned into a clockwork robot that leaves oil everywhere. No, he's vanished into thin air then.
All right. So I want to talk to the other three prisoners.
Yep.
And tell them I don't have any argument with them.
Yep.
I don't have any argument with you. I'm not looking for the treasure. As far as I'm concerned, you can continue your treasure hunt. But the Major that came with us, the American Major that came with us, is probably looking for the treasure. And he's the one. He's why we are here. So that's why. So as far as I'm concerned, if you leave us, go tell your friends that you can take Arkady with you, and you can go to town, come back in a week if you want or not. I don't care.
The Russians will be here in a week.
The Russians will be here in a week. But as far as I'm concerned,
they are of the opinion to a man that they want to get the hell out of here. They do not want to hang around the tunnels whatsoever. They certainly do not want to be here when the Soviets turn up, which was kind of what they were arguing with Arkady about in the first place. And they have no real interest in some sort of conflict over a treasure which they don't honestly believe exists anyway.
Ask them about the mines.
The mines? What mines?
Yeah. What do you want?
The mines outside, sorry.
Yeah.
They don't know much about them. They know they're there. But the thing is that Ksiaz Castle was a tourist attraction and hotel complex just before the war, and there was certainly no landmines around it then. Yeah, so as far as they're aware, they've been put here since the war, but they don't think NATO did it. They don't think that they know for sure Arkady didn't do it. They didn't do it, so they don't know where they came from. But somewhere in the last 3 months or so, these mines have appeared.
That's the only thing that worries me, is out there somewhere there's a third party. As Raymond said.
Doesn't that just argue for us getting out?
Yeah, absolutely. But we just got to be on our guard getting out, is all I'm saying. We can't walk away from here imagining it's going to be sweetness and light.
Okay. So,
All right.
actions, people. What are you doing?
I'm gonna release the prisoners.
Okay.
And say you can take Arkady and you can go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, before we do that, I'm just gonna search them. Is there anything on them that suggests they're working for the Russians or they've got sympathy with the Soviets?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let them live then.
They're local deserters.
Yeah, basically. They do have, some of them have what looks like the remnants of Polish military uniform, but they are not actively Polish military.
And if we want to leave, and they're going to go out that tunnel, which is back towards 9 and then out 3, that tunnel, I want to go the other way around.
Okay, so which way do you want to go? You want to go towards what number?
3,
So
that main entrance.
I want to go back out 3.
Yeah.
But I want to go the other way around the circle to 3.
Okay.
No, we're going
Sure,
to walk kind of towards 2, but go to 3.
All right, so you're going to come down here, across and up and round.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go out the way we came? Because that gets us on the right
We're going to
side.
go back out through the mines. I mean, we could do that.
There's probably mines all around it, though, isn't there? Nothing to suggest
I
that
think
there are.
that there are mines everywhere except for the main road up to the castle. Yeah.
So unless we wanted to walk down the main road back to where we left the Jeep.
In the night. I'm
Which
happier about using the road in the night.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a terrible idea.
No, okay. Yep, I'm
Okay.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
So are you going any further into the tunnels, or are you just going straight out of 4 or 3?
What do you think, guys?
I was going to say, just jump in. I would like to try and do a quick scan at that figure 8, or a very quick look, civil engineering, because I am curious to see if we can find something. Because my interest is out of character motivation. I do feel like I want to get out west, and if we can go under, that might spare some rads as well. So just have a quick look around that bit. But if I can't see anything, then I'll join the rest of the guys.
No, I agree with him actually.
We stay together. I feel we should stay as a unit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to have a quick scout round the figure 8, and then you're going to bug out, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if we can find anything. Civil engineering, I'm hoping, but I'm not great at it. See if there's anything that gives us a hint or a clue.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I will
Tunnel that'll save us going over the mountains.
Yeah. So we'll just roll.
Well, I'm going to show you what you find first, because it's fairly obvious.
Find a great big train full of gold.
No, that's what you see.
Great big
big
Nazi
symbol.
sign, yeah.
That's the only Nazi symbol you've seen in the whole place, and it's stamped on the wall there. This is at the end of the figure 8, so the right on the bottom right-hand side of the diagram. There's that on the wall. That's the only thing you see, and it's glaringly obvious. It's immediately obvious as you shine the torches on the wall. You don't need to make a roll for it. The wall there, however, before you think of secret doors and passages, appears to be solid concrete.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to knock it down.
Yeah. Suppose this. So this place isn't really going to be doing that. So there's no point for the roll. We're just can't see anything.
I just said you found that. I didn't say you couldn't look elsewhere.
Do we want to if you want to bring the map back
do you want to use your civil engineering skills to see whether any of these concrete walls are as solid as they seem and back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also what we should do is go and have a look at one, which Andy's just kindly covered over.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I was.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not important because Andy just put the other picture over it. Let's not bother them.
Well, I also put the picture over your face, Dave, but I mean, that's just accidental.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But seriously, yeah, you can look at one, you can go around the rest of the figure 8.
I think Matt's idea is probably a good one, isn't it? Use your civil engineering to see if any of the walls are
or softer, or there's a different texture or something. Yeah.
Okay,
it's not great.
make your civil engineering roll then.
It's probably not great. It's going to go bad. I actually passed just by 2. 33 against the 35.
The bit of the tunnel next to 1, so there's 2 small tunnels that connect to a long flat bit there. That long flat bit looks like a railway tunnel. And the bit right on the far of the map here, this bit here.
Yeah. Furthest right part,
Yeah, furthest right, sorry. Looks like a railway tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And so does this bit here. So it's
how are these ends finished off? Are these caved in, or are they unmade?
They appear to be bricked off.
Bricked off or concrete?
No, brick.
Brick.
Can we knock through the bricks then?
That's not going to get you a train to Czechoslovakia.
No, but now we're here. We might as well check it.
Okay. So you start knocking
Curiosity.
I'm going to keep an eye out for the. I'm going to keep an eye out for the major. I'm going to hide myself someplace and keep an eye out for the major, because
I will cut to the chase. It takes a little while. I assume you do it. Which end are you doing it from? This end, shall we say? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think so.
I prefer this end, and then we've got less angles to cover.
Okay, so you do it from this end. Whatever.
Sorry. I prefer the one end.
Oh, this
because
end.
There are fewer approaches to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you bash away at the brickwork for a while, and eventually you find that it is a wall of kinds. It's not actually just the end of the tunnel. It's double thickness, though. There's a brick wall, then a gap, then a brick wall. So where Arcady's men did look at this before, they just found brickwork and gave up, but there is actually another piece behind that. And roughly where my cursor is now, the tunnel continues to about that far in, and there is a railway car sitting there on tracks, partially buried in brickwork, if you like, and other loose debris around it. It's not going anywhere.
A cave-in?
No, not a cave-in. The railway carriage is on its own. There's no engine or anything, for starters. The tracks only exist under the railway carriage. They've been lifted up everywhere else. Okay. And the railway carriage is sitting in the middle of what appears to be a small dead-end extension to this part of the tunnel. It's as long as the railway carriage is, literally, and that's it.
We got this far.
Let's have a look inside.
A single bar of bullion could make us all quite wealthy.
Let's have a look. Now we're here. We found the damn thing, so.
Okay. Well, it is.
Looking out for mines and other booby traps as we approach.
Absolutely fine. Not sure where I did the handout for this one. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's open at the side. It's basically a simple railway carriage with a door open. Yeah. Ignore the big letter A from the photo site that I stole it from. In any case, it's a railway tunnel like that. However, a railway carriage rather like that. However, either side of the doorway at the side, there are crates. Big wooden crates.
Let's just quickly check the Geiger counter whilst we're here.
It's reading about background or less.
Right, okay, cool.
Okay. So there are crates.
Radioactive cargo.
Nope.
Oh, well, let's go.
I've got to say, this railway car reminds me of pictures I've seen from 1945. It weren't carrying gold.
No, I agree with that. I was expecting some kind of fancy, executive car that Hitler might have ridden in, but
no. It's just a bog standard railway carriage like that, nondescript.
What dimensions are the crates that surround it?
The crates are various sizes. The largest are probably 4 foot by 4 foot by 1 foot, kind of an odd shape. Other ones are more standard, sort of 4 by 3 by 2 type package crate size.
4 foot by 4 foot square, 1 foot high.
Mm-hmm.
What the?
Let's go and open one.
Okay, you're going to pry one open?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, most of what seems to be inside at first glance is packing straw, an awful lot of it. So you start digging through that, yeah?
Scan it with the Geiger counter again.
And dig through with the machete and a knife rather than my hand.
Okay. There is something golden in there, but not anywhere near what you expected. There's an awful lot of what appears to be, well, it's orange and translucent and weird, and there's a lot of it. And it seems to be carved in places as well. You can't quite clearly see because you can see the top part of it in one of the boxes. But
is this amber?
It is indeed amber.
Is this the amber room? I've just listened to this on blooming bloody Ken and Robin talk about stuff. This is the long lost amber room from St. Petersburg.
It is indeed the long lost amber room from St. Petersburg, which is a completely random thing, Matt, because A, I haven't listened to Ken and Robin.
No, you don't.
And B, more importantly, I had no idea it had been on the radio or anywhere else recently. But this is indeed the amber room.
I watched a special on this like years ago.
Yeah, possibly the same one I watched.
All of Silesia looking for this train car.
Yeah. And it is lost since 1943, and you've just found it, all 6 tons of it.
All right. Is there anything there with portable and valuable?
Oh, there's plenty of stuff here that's valuable. Portable, however, not so much. It's 6 tons of amber and gold leaf. To give you an idea of what Matt and Toby are talking about, this is a photo of what the amber room looked like in its glory.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It literally is an amber room.
That the Nazis looted.
1943, yeah.
Mm.
There is a replica of it on display in St. Petersburg now, which took 25 years to build or something.
Okay.
But that's the original one.
I've never seen a picture. That's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah. It is a stunning room.
Okay. Are those chairs solid gold? Can I just take a chair leg or something?
Yeah. They weigh 1,000 kilos.
The chairs, unfortunately, are wooden with gold leaf on them, so they're worth something. Maybe it's an antique, but not anywhere near as much as they would be if they were made out of gold.
How long will it take to scrape 10 kilos worth of gold leaf off?
10 kilos worth of gold leaf.
Gold leaf is very, very thin.
I know it is.
I would suspect that it would probably take you far more time than it's actually worth in terms of labour. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
So, yes, this is valuable. No, it's not immediately valuable because certainly no one's looking for amber at the minute. And certainly you can't move 6 tons of it anyway.
And there's no real archaeological, historical kind of society working at the moment, I guess, whilst we're
in civilized times, this would make the news worldwide, but unfortunately, you're not in civilized times.
But there will, at one point in the future, be a need for tourist attractions. And I'm just thinking, the amber room's broken up.
Should we reseal
there may be a mosquito here with dinosaur DNA in it.
Oh, God.
Would you like a Cadillac as well while we're at this?
Cadillacs and dinosaurs. Yes, I'm segueing into the next Free League game.
No, it ain't gold, though. All joking aside, it ain't gold.
It ain't portable.
It's 4 foot by 4 foot.
And this isn't leading us.
Some of the panels, I mean, the 4 foot by 4 foot thing is panels like this on the wall, which are A, very heavy, B, intensely beautiful and valuable, but C, not very practical to move around right now.
The value in this is in its entirety, not in chucking off a piece of amber.
No.
I mean, I don't know what the street price of amber is because
not very much.
Try to sell me amber.
Probably zero. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this isn't leading us west into the tunnel. This is what I was hoping to find. Is a way.
There was a railway here once, and maybe it would have gone your way, but unfortunately, most of the tracks are now missing. So you'd be better off walking along it than trying to move
the major
train
can
down.
have this shit. I want to get back to the Jeep, and I want to get back to Czechoslovakia, and then I want to get to Germany, and then I want to get home.
Okay. Right. All right.
It's a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm rather impressed that you got the amber room there, Matt. That was quite cool. Anyway, I hope you'd be confused by this for a bit longer. Anyway, moving on.
Was it more impressive that I think Toby got it even before he started playing almost?
Well, yeah. This is the problem when you use common tropes about a country. Then presumably people will have heard them. So you know.
I kept wanting to ask, like, has Minka heard these stories? Because like,
no.
At the end of the game, I will show you something.
I'm only 21, so I kind of grew up with the war and nothing much.
From the age of 16 onwards, it's been the Third World War, so it's been a bit.
I don't remember much else. Yeah,
fair enough.
Bit of a rough upbringing. Anyway, right. So that brings us to the next question: getting out the tunnels and getting back to your Jeep.
I think we want to go down the road, like we said, once it's dark.
Yeah, out via 3 down the road. Obviously, not sauntering like we're on a picnic.
Okay. As you come out of the railway car, you can make recon rolls.
Okay.
Oh,
We can make them.
Yes,
can we pass them?
I succeeded.
Okay.
No.
The Major steps out from the side of the corridor. He has a rifle pointed at you. And he says, so you found it.
Oh, you can have it.
It's all yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want it.
You found the gold.
There's no gold. You can go and have a look.
There's some gold.
Hardly.
He looks at you and says, bring out one of the ingots to me.
Well, there are no ingots.
You're lying, he says.
Well,
can I remember?
I hold my hands out and say, look, I'm not loaded down with gold, am I?
Can I remember, were there any man-portable crates that are, of a suitable size? So,
there are some crates in there that are smaller. Yeah, there are smaller pieces
that
of amber.
I could carry. If I run back and say, yes, sir, massa, and
ignoring the slightly racist comment there or whatever, yes, you can go there. Well, not racist, other way around. You know what I mean, anyway.
I was being ironic there, obviously, given my nature.
But yes, you can certainly go back and get a crate.
I might just go and say, wait here, guys. I'll go and do it. All I ever do is fetching and carrying anyway.
All right. So you go back and get a small crate. You can get something about the size of the standard ammo crate sized, not that large.
Okay.
You've got one.
So he's got his rifle pointed at us. We've got our rifles out, but not pointed at him.
Yeah, he has a slight drop on you.
Yeah, okay.
But he hasn't got a massive advantage on you, and there's only one of him. So, anyway, okay, you have the crate.
I bring the crate back in through these guys.
Yeah.
Put it down at his feet.
Yeah.
I've got a crowbar or some sort of tool.
Yep.
I open it. I lift. I don't lift the lid, but I undo the nails, as it were, and then step away.
Don't be in the line of sight, Matt, because I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else does first.
Okay. Without taking his eyes off you, he reaches down and just pats his hand inside the straw of the crate. Yeah.
Is that the one with the snakes in it, Matt?
He's patting his hand
exactly, yeah.
Snake mummy.
He's patting his hand inside the crate, and then you hear him curse in German. And he steps back from the crate and goes, "What sort of trick is this?"
At any point, does he lower his rifle?
No, he keeps his eyes and his gun on you pretty much all the time. But he knows there's no ingot in the crate, or any ingots, in fact.
Hold on. That is somebody else's Major's jacket you're wearing.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Weren't you at last week's Soviet festival? He looked at you. I assume you're actually saying that. He says,
yeah.
Well, I had the good fortune not to be born American.
His English isn't good.
No.
Is that a Russian accent?
No, he's German. He just spoke German.
It's actually an American accent, right? But he speaks it in a sort of clipped style. Is the best way of describing it.
He's a fucking Nazi. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Looking for Nazi gold. He's still got his. Who is his rifle, which is a long thing, pointing at?
The rifle is primarily pointed at you, Matt, because you came forwards closest to him.
Okay.
Do I think I can get a shot off before he shoots
Well,
Matt?
give me a moment. I'm just
You
checking
can
what my.
certainly get a shot off, Dave.
You may also shoot Matt.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot Matt.
I will just make an agility roll and fall to the floor.
Right.
Well, sorry. I wish to fall to the floor, opening up the field of fire.
Yeah.
And in that
You
movement, I'm
can
gonna
go prone unless you roll anything over a 90.
25. Which
I
is
would
a
say you go
successful
prone.
agility roll. I do it quite elegantly.
Okay. You're prone. That leaves him facing you lot, but his gun is still pointing where Matt was. So, up to you how you play this.
Oh, for fuck's sake, somebody shoot the fucker.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah,
I think this is a bit we just
my rifle
shoot.
up and shooting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go in coolness under file then. So Raymond is first.
I have already left. I don't know if you saw the chat.
I did see the chat, yes.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd keep the illusion going for a minute.
Ah.
All right.
So
Okay.
yes, I was on watching for the major, but I have left.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Scum. Okay, I knew there was something about you I didn't like.
Sorry about that, guys.
I told you, Howard. Yeah, exactly. How did the major get in if you were covering? He's in.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't covering.
He's in cahoots with the major.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, he's just gone back to the bloody Jeep.
Revenge.
Yeah, he's gone. Right. Okay. In that case, we will go on the next coolness under fire,
Which
will
Bruce.
be
Yeah,
Bruce.
3. Yeah, taking a shot at him.
Okay. It counts as close, but it's an easy shot. So I'll give you double what you normally have. You're too close for it to be anything else.
So that's 55 basically for the combat.
Yeah.
Nope, miss. Obviously, I'm raising the rifle up to try and shoot him, but it fires off in the air.
The U.S. Rangers are very proud of their shooting skills.
It's not the hitting skills, obviously. It's just the shooting skills.
Dave, your shot.
Okay, do I get double as well then?
Yes, you do. You're too close. You're literally within 5-10 feet of him.
That gives me a score of 120.
90 plus is still a miss, no matter what your skill is.
Right, okay, yep. That's 22.
That's a hit. Roll a d10.
4.
A 4. A 4 is a chest hit. Roll again.
This is that. Roll
So
again.
this is 4d6 plus 8 because you're at close range.
Yeah, it is chest. Okay. That's 16, 18, 23.
Okay. He's at -3 in the chest.
So that means he's dead.
Well, he's going to be fairly quickly. He's unconscious at best.
Okay, I'm walking up to him and I'm putting a bullet in his head.
Okay, well, that's death then. Right.
I want revenge. And it's people like him that are letting the Russians win the war. And people like Raymond, who I didn't trust from the start, who's like, right, guys, I want to track Raymond.
I'm not chasing after Raymond. I'm going down to the Jeep. Quick as I can.
Raymond has a 20-minute lead on you at least.
Well, we're all going in that direction. So
yeah.
Okay.
I think we should go through. What's the quickest way back to the Jeep? On the road?
It's going to be down the road now, isn't it?
Or through
the quickest way down to the Jeep would be to return to 4 or thereabouts, and then go down through the woods to the Jeep, even though there are mines.
Going through the woods
No, of course
at
I'm
night,
joking.
as opposed to going round.
The thing is, though,
the quickest way down would be down by the road. Of course, it's not by
the thing is that the road might branch around lots. We might have a direct route.
Yeah, but we will go
road.
at 5 miles an hour down the road, whereas we're going to go at less than 2 miles an hour through the woods in the dark.
With the mines,
not necessarily.
And the possible radiation hazard.
If a GM is saying it's fastest down the road, then let's double time it down the road.
Yeah, the road is also, as you are aware, not mined according to Arcady anyway.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Major's rifle and his ammo.
Okay. That's an M16 with NATO 5.56. So
Just in case I need it.
Yeah, it's a different gun, but you can take it. Right. Okay. Are you searching anything else in the major before you go?
Hold on. Encumbrance is a major part of this Twilight 2000 game, according to everything.
It is.
Can he carry a second
You
rifle?
can
I've
carry
got 2 rifles and a pistol, for God's sake. It's not that
Probably,
much.
yeah.
And the backpack and all the equipment
You
we've got
can
listed
carry
down at
it.
the bottom.
Dave, what's your load? It's on the top of your character sheet.
Load is 33.
Right, you can carry 33 kilos without being in the encumbrance area. So you're fine for the minute.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more and maybe not. But
Gonna
yeah.
shoot Howard in the back as we're running down now as well.
Well,
I'm
as long as you don't end up carrying him.
This game's all about encumbrance.
Yeah.
Okay, whilst we're looting for his gun, we might as well just check to see if he's got any like notes or papers.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Get out there on the bloody way.
No, he
Take like
doesn't.
10 seconds. Okay.
Nor does he have any glaringly obvious Nazi tattoos or earrings or pendants or anything else.
Not a little square moustache or anything like that.
No.
The only good kraut is a dead kraut. He's dead. Go on, move on.
Well, there's also a sauerkraut. They're fairly good, I find.
Actually,
Anyway,
apart from our allies, of course.
The only good Nazi is a dead Nazi, is what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only good ones make those Leopard 2 tanks.
Anyway, okay.
Right, let's double time it back to the van, to the Jeep.
Okay. Now, to cut a long story sheep. I think let's assume that one of you three does, because otherwise it's going to be a little awkward, right?
Military vehicles don't have keys.
This is true.
U.S. military vehicles don't have keys.
No.
So maybe
Anyway.
if Andy's being really cruel, then Toby, you'll get back and find that Sharp's driven off with it 5 hours ago.
I'm not going back to the Jeep.
Okay.
Damn it, I should have messaged you right at the beginning of this and said I'll take the ignition switch away or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never did.
Yeah, that would be easy to do.
Okay. The three remaining party members, as it were, make it back to the Jeep to reunite with the fourth one, who was never played. And to cut to the end of the scenario, you make it out and head off towards Czechoslovakia as the Soviet army approaches.
So Raymond didn't steal the Jeep?
No, he didn't. He went off in a different direction.
He went in the direction towards the Russians, didn't he? He's a spy.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to Toby if he tells you that.
He's
I'm
a
just
traitor.
Right. And then last but not least, if I put this on the screen, there you go. That is the summary of the inspiration for this scenario. There you go.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my plan was to get the information about where the Amber Room is back to the 124th Tank Guards so that it can be eventually returned to Russia.
So you were looking for the Amber Room all
I was
along.
not looking for the Amber Room, but I figure I probably would know that it was a major artifact from Tsarist Russia, and that it probably should go back to Russia.
Well, the last 250 years, it was technically Russian. So, yeah. Anyhow.
So
that concludes the scenario. You'll be glad to know you missed 30% of it out by not going through the castle at all.
Yeah.
So
I've now
finished 47 minutes early.
You did give us a map to the tunnels.
And yes,
it was like,
I did.
Yeah, let's go into the tunnels.
I know. But at the same time, you didn't go through the castle bit at all, which is fine. There wasn't really that much up there, but there was something. Which means that bit where I modified the medieval map of the castle was completely pointless. So thank you for wasting my Tuesday evening. Anyway, moving on.
Bloody players, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Fastest to a man players are.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So that was Descent into Ksiaz. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was great.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
really good.
And obviously that was the limitations of Twilight 2000 first edition, which, as you can tell, pretty much boils down to recon rolls. Which is a major limitation of it. When you're trying to do stealthy stuff or whatever, it does get a bit silly, and an awful lot of stuff is stealthy.
Yeah.
And if you're not stealthy, then you die. And I simplified the combat a little there, but to be fair, the damage is accurate. You do take 8 plus 4d6 off a heavy round.
Yeah.
And if you look at your hit locations, where you can work out what 8 plus 4d6 does to a hit location on average.
Yeah.
And armor only covers your chest and upper body at best. If you have a helmet, you're lucky. If you get hit in the leg, you're fairly screwed.
Yeah.
Hence the joke for Twilight 2000 was always shoot from kneeling down, because then you hit the enemy in the leg and they're never armored in the legs.
So, fair comment. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the game system, I really do. But it is a product of its era, very much so. And there are limitations, like, for example, there's no skill for certain things because it's focused on what it does. So it becomes rather limiting when you want to say, oh yeah, you could make a history. No, there's no skill for
a knowledge roll or whatever.
It is what it is. I mean, second edition was better than that, but second edition, I think, went off the reservation in other ways. Primarily because I approached second edition coming from Travel in the New Era, because it's basically the same house system, and I hated Travel in the New Era's system, so I kind of hated second edition Twilight by default, which is probably unfair because I think it probably worked better for Twilight 2000 second edition. There you go. So there you have it. I have no idea how that would play out with Free League stuff. Hopefully a bit better, because I'd like to think that their skill system will be a little more rounded. But it's hard to tell.
It's really good. I mean, I haven't played first edition since 1980, whatever it was.
Yeah. I was going to say probably 1990. I did play one session or two in college. So.
And I picked up the PDF of the rules, and I started reading them, and they're so of their time. That, I didn't get very far. And actually, having going through it and remembering some of it, and having you remind us of the rules, it actually played really well. Okay, with the exception of, like, say, some of the skills don't even exist that you might want to use in a more modern game. I thought it worked really nicely. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it works well. I mean, okay, I didn't throw you into a wartime scenario because I figured that with only 4 hours to play it, the combat would take either forever or be over really quickly. So I did a more sort of slightly tangential scenario, which had been hanging around for years.
I think it's a good scenario.
I mean, it's just taking tropes from Poland, really. I mean, Ksiaz Castle is there. You can go and book a holiday there. It's a hotel complex.
So I think what you should do, you should write it up when the Free League Workshop starts doing this stuff, but not call it Descent into that place.
Well, I wrote the scenario. The first draft of the scenario is actually dated in my notes as sometime in 1990. So I think I was going to run this lot for you lot when we used to go around your mum's place, Matt. Right?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I never did that for whatever reason. And then the Amber Room and the Nazi gold train bits were added on after that, because originally it was just the tunnel system under the castle with some surprises there. It was more of a Twilight dungeon crawl, for want of a better description. But,
yes, it was mid-90s that the whole idea of a gold train or treasure train.
Yeah, it was. I wrote the scenario before all that really sort of blew up in the press, because the Project Risa thing, the tunnels under all those, there are loads of them. There are something like 18 or 19 complexes across Poland and Germany. And most of them are like this. They are tunnel systems, but they don't really make a lot of sense, and most of them are abandoned. And this one was rumored to be a bunker for Hitler, but as you can see from the map, that map, by the way, Arcady's map, is the actual map of the tunnels as they are today. And as you can see, they are just tunnels with 1 or 2 rooms. It's very hard to... I'll just put it up again, actually. It's very hard to work out what that would have been for. So it's anyone's guess what they're for. But you can visit them. They actually run tours around them. And you can go and look at them and things. So there you go. So that's that. It's all a quick trip through some of the more esoteric elements of World War II and Poland and whatever. And it's meant to be a gentle introduction to Twilight without throwing you in the deep end, really.
Cool. As a Twilight player of the past, Raymond, Toby, Daniel, did it bring back happy memories, or was it?
Oh yeah, no, I mean this. Like I said, I have not played it since that one session in college, like 1990 or whatever, and I thought the scenario was good. I guess, yeah, no, it's good. I enjoyed it. I mean, you could always throw in more complicated, more difficult
but
questions with the Arkady. Like if he had been using like I hate to even say it, if he'd been using like slave labor to try and dig his way through all the tunnels and everything.
Yeah, these things considered. I considered these sort of things because obviously I gave every character a very quick background sketch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Minka's character is aggressive because basically Poland's a mess, and therefore she's just looking for some sort of vengeance, which is really kind of hard to see. Your character is a Russian, actually, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I figured I just wanted to get home.
There is a conspiratory element there, but I put those things in, but I wasn't really keen for them to go anywhere because I've only got 4 hours here, and I figured that we were going to Tales of the Old West or whatever afterwards. So I didn't really want to focus on them as much. But at the same time, I mean, Matt and Dave will know I do throw in a lot of curveballs into scenarios. So
who planted the mine?
Well, you never found out because you didn't go into the castle, so you won't find out. So no. Read the version I put on the Free League Workshop when it actually happens. And you will find out where the mines came from. If I
The
don't
reason
use that
Andy
version.
says that, this is just a cover. He's got no idea. He fluffed his lines in the
Oh,
middle.
no.
It's supposed to be
Oh,
there.
I
Now he's
didn't.
like, yes, there's some special bad guys that you never saw.
No. There were
I think I
actually
should
some
stop
extra
recording.
bad guys.
So, everybody want to say goodbye?
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks
I
for
will stop
watching.
recording, but I'll leave the meeting going for a moment.